before we get too carried away, because we're already talking before I hit the record. So we just hit record now. I think we need to move our records from the end of the month to the beginning of the month, because if something happens every end of the month, you and I, or in this case, both of us, are sick. And it always happens at the end of the month, and right when we're recording, because I can't tell you how many times we've been recording a podcast, and we're like coughing and sniffling and stuffing and
permanently sick. It's easier that way.
Well, I don't want that though. But if we wait till the beginning of the month, guaranteed, by the time this episode comes out, I'll feel great. I'll be just fine. But for 2 weeks now, it's just been constant sickness. Or
I don't pay attention enough. I can tell you right now, I'm better than I have been for the last 2 weeks.
That's fair. Well, that's a good way to start the podcast. Go ahead.
I had pneumonia /
Yay.
Still have pneumonia. I just finished antibiotics for a week. And I was sick for over a week, or almost a whole week before that, before I went to the doctor to realize, or to get checked out, because my kids were in camp, and kids bring home sickness. So my son was coughing for like
they didn't bring
2
home
weeks.
pneumonia. They didn't. Yeah.
Probably not. I mean,
I
it can
pneumonia
it can be a virus or a bacteria,
okay.
but it's usually just like a side effect of something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he brought home a cold, and he still had a cough up until I think a few days ago. I'm pretty sure it's gone now, but it was with him for like 3 weeks, and then we all got whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then mine got worse and worse and worse, and fever, chills, and sweating, and can't breathe, and yeah. Then I went to the doctor.
Rough.
Luckily, the doctor visit was not terrible. It was just, I don't know. Healthcare here is good but bad at the same time.
Yeah. At least you don't go bankrupt, though.
Yes, that's true. That is a benefit of it. It didn't cost me a dime. Actually, it cost me $1.30 for the meds.
I was gonna say your copay or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or maybe copays for seniors.
I don't know. It's like a dispensing fee or something like
Yeah,
that.
basically, yeah.
$1.63, I think it was. And I avoided parking at the doctor's office, so I didn't need to pay for that either. And because my wife drove, and then and then the X-ray. I did an chest X-ray, and it was here near me, which is also easy. It was 45-minute wait, which is apparently the best they get. They are apparently as bad as 5-hour wait time at that place for X-rays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, 45 minutes doesn't seem that bad.
But when I got there, they didn't tell me how long the wait was. They're just like, okay, have a seat. I'm like, this place is pretty busy. Like, the seats were full, and there's a lot of seats there. Yeah. But then I started watching people as they're going in. I'm like, okay, most of them don't take that long. Yeah. And mine, I'm pretty sure, took like 10 minutes.
Was it actually like a radiology, or was it like an urgent care?
It was radiology, like the True North Imaging.
Yeah, True North Imaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go pretty quick there. Well, there's a bunch of them around, but yeah.
Yeah, I was told the New Hamburg one has the lowest wait times, but that's a 25-minute drive away, so is it worth it? I don't know.
25 minutes there, 25 minutes back. That's already more than the 45-minute wait time that you would have had.
Unless it also had a 45-minute wait time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just in travel time alone, you're
your wait. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm much better than I have been. Work was stupid about it too, because they were just like not clear. It seems like my company's policy is like, if you're sick for 3 days in a row, that's fine. But if it's more than 3 days, your manager needs to contact HR, and then we talk about it. Okay, but they're not clear on what the actual rules are. But if you read into it, it's like you're fine up until the 7th day, and then you need to go on short-term disability.
Yeah.
Which is still covered by the company, so you're fine. It's just you need a doctor's note and all that crap.
Yeah, put more work into it, yeah. You definitely have to pay for a doctor's note. That ain't...
Yeah, but some companies that I've worked for before said they'll pay for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't done it ever. There's been one time where it came up and it was possibly a need, but never did need it.
I remember when I was working at a warehouse, they have the same policy. If you're going to be sick, if you call in sick for any reason, you have to have a doctor's note. So even if I had a cold, I had to go to the doctor and
For one day.
for one day. Every
That's
day they
ridiculous.
wanted so like because it's a warehouse full of like high school students,
Yeah.
college students who are just like whatever they find any reason not to come into work or whatever. So
Yep.
I got
So
into
they
the
were kind of
habit of
forced into it.
yeah. So I just basically just came to work sick, regardless. Back
Yeah,
to well,
that is the other alternative, right?
yeah.
It's less
And
hassle.
so I would no, but I would come to work because my manager actually clued me into it. He said, "If you're sick, come into work sick, and then talk to me,
Oh,
and I will send you home."
gotcha. That way it's on you. It's their choice, not yours. Yeah, I
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah. So I remember one time, like I could barely stand up. I was like a ghost, but I remember getting on the bus, going to work, 10-minute walk over to work from the bus stop, walk in. Hi, Blake. I'm sick. He's like, yeah, I can see that. Go home. I'm like, this would be a lot easier if I could just call you. Because not
Yeah.
not only do I not want to come to work, I also don't want to go to the doctor's office like this and spend half my day in the doctor's office getting a doctor's note to then bring to you to prove that I'm sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And costs you money too for a
And
doctor's
cost me
note,
money,
so-
and I'm not getting rest to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yay.
Yeah. Company policies. Sound good on
Needs
paper.
rest. Well, I would think COVID probably changed that as well because they didn't want people to come in sick at that
Yeah.
type of place, even.
Any sickness, you're just like, nope, don't come
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Little sniffle, nope, don't come in. Yeah. So, thankfully, I don't have that job now. I'm just like, I don't feel well today, and they know that I don't ever really call in. So if I call,
You're an
in,
adult now, right? Like,
if I call in, I have a legitimate reason not to be there.
yeah.
So they don't push me too hard, or whatever. Yeah. Well,
We did something. We did several things, actually.
we did several things. I'll let
But,
you start.
I had a birthday.
You did have a birthday. Happy
And
happy 40th.
and I invited Josh over, as well as, sorry, I'm not going to mute. It's too much. As well as I invited over,
If it's a big one, you got it.
I invited over 10 other friends. Some of them came, some did not. But we had a LAN party. A LAN party is where everybody brings their computer over and we play games. So we did that.
We did that.
It wasn't as long as I hoped. Some people went home early. By some people, I mean everybody. Like 2 a.m., we were all done and everyone was gone.
Well, I went home at like what? It wasn't 2 a.m.
I don't remember.
He was earlier than that. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. By 2 a.m., I was in bed.
Yeah, which I think you said till 2 a.m. the party would go till 2 because I think that's when parking tickets start happening.
Oh, I didn't even think about parking. No, really?
Yeah, I think it's 1 or 2 a.m. You start getting parking tickets because it's overnight parking and there's no overnight parking in Waterloo without a permit. You have to call the city, register your vehicle.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Oh, I have never run into that.
Maybe not on your street because of your little cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
so-
maybe.
But I remember other streets are like that, and
Yeah.
I live in Waterloo too, and it's the same thing over here.
Like we're like a cul-de-sac off of Main Street, off of Main Street, off of Main Street, off of
Yeah.
Main Street.
So
like
unless-
off a street, off a street, off a street, off of Main Street.
Unless one of the neighbors
Yeah.
calls in to complain, you're probably fine. And no one's patrolling.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever complained or called about any car on our street. But it's not like I have people stay overnight very often either. But my parents usually pull in the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to go somewhere the next day, so I didn't want to be up too late.
You weren't the only one. There were several people with that scenario. So,
Yeah. So, but I think I stayed till like 12 or 1 o'clock. So
and the one guy drove here from Ottawa, so there's that excuse too. But
he didn't
he
drive
was
back
going
that
back to his
same day.
parents' house in Kitchener, though.
Oh.
Yeah,
Might as well just have stayed over. Just lounge, I guess.
there is that too.
Oh.
Yeah, and my cousin came from Georgetown, so he was driving from there.
Yeah.
An hour.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. We had fun.
Usually we like to do it longer. That's all.
Yes.
But then again, it's been over 10 years since we did one. So
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
just
for
under 10 years, I think.
I
2015 or
Yeah. I did want to come earlier. Like things happened during the day, so I wasn't able to leave as fast as I wanted to. and all those, life things happen. But I
Life.
got there.
That's the other thing my wife kept pointing out. We're all adults. A lot of us have children now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. I was basically at the house packing up my family to go away to the cottage. So I had to pack
Yes.
up the
Yes.
car and get all their stuff in and ready to go wrangle the kids, send them on their way. And then I think I had lunch because they left at noon. So I think I had lunch and then I headed over.
Yeah.
So what do you play?
How was that drive? You went up.
We'll get to that.
All right. No fender flew off.
The fender flew off my motorcycle.
Yeah. So what did we play? I don't remember what we played. We played Wreckfest. Everybody basically bought
you
that.
can play before. You were playing long before I got there, so start at the beginning.
Well, I wasn't. I barely got to play anything for the first 2 hours or so. I was just troubleshooting my son's computer. It was hanging.
Oh.
He was trying to play Almost Human, which is an MMO, but shooter, not an MMO like. Yeah, it's like an MMO shooter with base building and some crafting and survival. But a bunch of people, God, 2 people were playing that. We tried to get my son playing, tried to get mine going. It's always a thing at LAN parties that we don't know what we're playing or people don't prepare games, so you need to have decent internet. So I did upgrade my internet a while ago. I think I talked about that to gigabit internet for download speed. But at the same time, Steam also introduced a feature called I forget what it's called. But anyway, you can share basically, if I have the game downloaded, anybody else on the network, if I allow it, can download the files off of my system rather than going to the internet. However, gigabit internet, gigabit local network. So it was almost the same speed anyway, especially when you get that many people sharing the files from each other. So realistically, it wasn't really helping to get the files off each other locally, except that you could get them from one person and someone else gets them from another person, especially if you're on different network switches. But it didn't really work out that way very well. But between the internet and getting files off people, it did work out better than just the internet would have.
Yeah.
So anyway, my son's computer was being stupid. I still don't know why that was happening, but only with that game. Every other game works fine.
Yeah.
Nothing else is freezing, just that one game. I still haven't tried it again to see if it's still a problem or not, but yeah.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Of course.
Okay. Thought I would
I
ask.
tried removing RAM. I tried removing every add-on card. I tried swapping the RAM into different slots. I haven't tried reseating the CPU, but I did that a few months ago when I got him a new cooler. I don't know. Yeah.
No.
I'm not swapping out his power supply. He is running off a UPS battery bank that has problems. So maybe that's a problem, but I doubt it. It actually shows there's an error on the battery. But anyway, that shouldn't be a problem. The LAN party I did, or before the LAN party, I tried getting my daughter's computer ready as well, which is a much older computer used from a lot of recycled old parts. And it decided that Fortnite would not run anymore at some point just before the LAN party. I hadn't turned it on for over a month before the LAN party, so of course a couple days before I turned it on and tried to run Fortnite, which was the main thing she wanted to play, and it would not work. So it was just crashing the game. So I upgraded her computer after the LAN party.
Oh, great.
For $200, I bought a computer with a better video card and a better processor and a bunch of RAM and swapped some of her things into it to make it better. Mainly just her power supply, I think, because her power supply was one of my old ones that's pretty good.
Okay.
So anyway, she's got a good working computer now. My God. Yeah.
Good. I have a bunch of computer parts around here. Might get you over here someday to help me figure out how to put it all together.
I could probably donate some to make it usable too.
Maybe.
We could probably build
I might-
multiple computers.
I might need some. I know, my kids are gonna want a computer. My wife wants a computer. She's running off of crappy laptops and stuff right now.
Well, I've got my daughter's old computer, the one that we're not using anymore. So there's that as well.
Okay,
That's
well,
fully working. Just depends on what you want to play. Like, I'm gonna play Roblox, but Fortnite doesn't like it anymore. Apparently,
yeah,
I'm assuming Fortnite discontinued support for the video card driver she was using.
maybe.
Yeah.
Cool.
pretty old.
I did prepare a little bit for your party because I
Downloaded games.
I did download some games. I downloaded some while I was there. You guys were talking when I got there, but I was like, oh, what are you guys playing? You're playing these? Okay. I just kind of like you said, was copying files from you guys on my computer quick. I could see what your play history or whatever.
And a bunch of people were downloading from you too, because they kept people like, whose computer is this name? And I'd be like, oh, that's Josh's. For a while there, they were thinking yours was the one called Game Boy, and no one could figure out who Game Boy was. Turns out it was Mike's handheld computer, his Aya Neo, I think it was.
No,
even Mike forgot he named it that.
Okay, I thought you had
what was it?
The Lenovo Legion, or
maybe that's what it was. Asus
one.
ROG Ally. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yes, and then Ivan was playing off a Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the only thing he brought was a Steam Deck and a dock.
And that worked out for him.
It did.
Played everything you needed to play.
Yeah. I mean, if we played Fortnite, I don't think it would have been as easy. But there is supposed to be a launcher for it. But I don't think their anti-cheat works on Linux. But I've never tried, so.
Okay.
He looked it up and said it was possible, but we didn't play Fortnite anyway.
Yeah. And here I went and downloaded Fortnite because I just assumed we would be one.
Well, let's play right now.
No, I have never played it, so I'd be at level 1.
That's fine. They reset the seasons every couple months anyway, and everybody starts at level 1.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But I did pull a SSD hard drive that I had laying around, a 500 gigabyte SSD. Unplugged one of my hard drives, plugged that in. I don't have that one.
I got one sitting here.
And set that up to be my permanent game drive. So
okay.
That's very nice. Before, my games were pretty scattered, like some on this drive, some on that drive, depending on where I had space.
Yeah. The reason there's one on my desk is because I upgraded one of mine after the LAN party. I was like, birthday present to myself. Why not? Oh, and my mother-in-law gave me a $100 gift card to Canada Computers, so that was a good addition to this drive.
Very nice.
Yes, so I bought myself a 2 terabyte SSD, moved my OS over to it, moved games over to it, and now I have more space for games to never play. Just have to have more LAN parties.
Oh, right? They're nice.
Yeah, it's nice to not have all full hard drives.
Yeah. I considered buying a Steam Deck just for the party because I've been looking at one anyway as well.
Yeah, you could have borrowed mine too.
I could have, yes, but
yeah,
because pulling my whole computer apart is a mess of wires under my desk. So I was like,
talk to me about mess of wires.
I was just dreading having to put it back all together. So I was leaving the next day to go up to the cottage. So I was like, I need to have this all plugged back in because I'm gonna be gone for a week. I have several people who are relying on a Plex server, including myself.
Yeah, while you're up there.
I was also running the music Plex. So if I'm going up north, I have no music unless my computer's up and running and Plex is up and running.
So you're doing music for your Plex now? We talked about that.
Yeah.
We talked about that last month, or we talked about it in person?
We haven't talked, but we have to go back. We have to go back even further because that's happened since last episode.
Okay.
We forgot about. Not forgot about what we. That also one of the movies that we watched with other people.
Yes.
That didn't get brought up. That was.
Yeah, that's in my list to talk about now.
Okay.
Yeah. Soon. Okay.
Yeah. Soon. Yeah.
I forgot that was then, but yes. So you're using Plex.
The first thing we did in the
as a music player.
We skipped the middle of the month.
Yeah. So Plex for playing music. I've been doing that as well. Did you get the Plex Amp app for your phone?
Yes,
okay.
I have. Yep.
Because it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Especially when you pick a song. Down at the bottom, there's a little DJ turntable thing.
Okay.
And you can choose what type of automatic playlist you want to happen. The one I like the most is Freeze. It it uses songs that are sonically similar to the one you're listening to right now and just adds them as the next song.
Okay.
So you'll kind of get a stream of songs that are very similar to each other with a bit of variation. So you can kind of put on a song of particular genre, and it does a pretty good job.
Okay. I haven't done that. I've just been hitting I'm treating it like my original music player. I just hit all tracks, random, shuffle, go.
Yeah, I have too many songs for that to be good.
So I'm realizing that as well because I've never actually had access to my full music library before. It's always been very curated on my phone. every couple of months I would put stuff on my phone, take stuff off, move things over and over. So I've never actually just had access to everything.
Yeah.
So
I've tried it for a while, and like I said, Plex used to have stability issues with my library of music, and I don't know why. But every couple nights it would just crash scanning it. But they've done something over the past 2 years that's made it much better. I used to have Jellyfin, and MB were the two other. Yeah, I used to use one of them just for music, and then movies and TVs and Plex.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm triple drinking tonight to try and.
I see that. Yeah, you're just.
I've got pop over here for the fizz. I've got tea, which is now done, which had honey and mint, and then I have a water over here as well. So.
Going nuts. You need 3 fists.
And another one for the mute button.
So on top of before we even the SSD that I pulled to the 500 gig SSD that I used.
Yeah.
My game drive is one that I pulled out of the garbage, so that was a nice little. But then adding to more garbage things, I'm constantly pulling music CDs out of the garbage, and I've been constantly just like ripping stuff off, or if I find a hard drive, I plug it in and just grab someone's entire music library and just
plus the viruses.
Plus all the viruses. Problem is, I don't
and
look
then
at what's
NASCAR.
there. In my head, I'm just like, oh, I'll figure this out later. And then I add my Plex amp that has everything, and I'm listening to music like, what the heck is this? Like, this is garbage.
Yeah. That is one problem I have with my music library is I used to, way back in the Napster days, I would mix CDs for people. I still have those MP3s.
Okay.
So they're generally in an unsorted music folder, but I think that's still in Plex. And then I have more curated stuff. Over time, I've been trying to sort more and more of it, and it's just a bog. I've even used tools to sort it, like Music Brain's Picard was one of them, and that one worked well, but it wasn't flawless. Yeah. I've tried many apps to sort music, even ones that are like, sometimes you'll get music back in that time, especially where the song is just named wrong, or I've been listening to this techno song for the last 25 years or more, 30 years, and I don't know who it's by, so you try to like identify it with some automatic tagging, and it doesn't always work great. Sometimes it works good.
Yeah, it's just a labor intensive thing that you got to go through and do.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to like go through. So I've been taking notes of kind of like, go when I get home, check out this folder, and I go on it and just a bunch of like songs that are mismatched and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, I've got too much to do with, and it's just delete that folder. I don't want to deal with it.
I don't delete any of it. I don't delete any of it.
None of that seems really interesting to me, so I'll just get rid of it. So I don't have the time. Either the quality's bad, the songs are bad, or some combination.
Yeah, quality I could see, but I'd still want to re-download it. But then again, if I'm not going to listen to it, then no.
That's the thing. Is like I don't even know who these artists are. I'm listening to a couple of their songs. None of it sounds good to me, so I've moved on. I've got other stuff I would like to listen to. Then try that. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. It saves me a lot of room on my phone.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to put gigabytes of stuff.
More data streaming, but still not that much for just music.
But I have 70 gigabytes. It's basically unlimited. It makes no difference.
Yep.
So might as well just do that.
Yeah, even just playing music all the time, you're still only like at most, I think it's like 20 gigs a month for my cousin's wife. She streams basically all the time. Yeah. Like while she's at work, to and from work, and pretty sure 25 gigs a month is what she uses doing that.
Yeah.
That probably includes watching YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, we're basically at the point where it's unlimited. The only thing that sucks is if my computer restarts or whatever, or something happens, then I just don't have
That's why I have a separate computer for it.
Well, listen, like I said, you got to come over and help me figure this out.
Yeah.
Eventually. So.
Yes.
So, yeah. What else is on your list?
So I have told many times about the guy Travis that has been giving me VHS tapes, and I was converting tapes for him, the the VHS-C tapes. So he messaged me again and said, "Hey, you still have those tapes of mine? Are you almost done?" My mother died.
Oh.
So his mother, who he originally contacted me to get the tapes digitized for Mother's Day, but he missed getting me the tapes in time for Mother's Day. So then he's like, okay, well, we'll do it for her birthday. So we did a bunch of tapes for her birthday, and then he gave me more, and I did another another batch of tapes, and then he gave me this third batch. And I was not hurrying because I figured, oh, he's got lots of them already.
Yeah.
There's no real hurry. He also said he might need my time to save up for them, even though I was only charging him $10 a tape, and I was doing that whether it was audio or not. Then he also, his dad's like, oh yeah, by the way, our laptop, the screen doesn't work, it cuts out and does weird stuff. Do you mind backing that up too? And we have a bunch of USB drives. Do you mind backing them up too? I'm like, sure. So I was doing all this stuff. And then there's also audio tapes that I was digitizing too, and I was making them into DVDs, so they're like watchable on the TV, right? Audio tapes of him talking as a baby, basically, with his mom and dad. And so the only thing I had left was the audio tapes. I had already done a lot. Like I already took his photography album of his portfolio and turned it into a slideshow. I did the same with his mom's photography album. She also had a whole bunch of paintings that she had done, and I like cropped them down and rotated them the right way whenever I could tell which way it was supposed to be. Some of them were abstract, so it was hard to tell, and made a slideshow out of that and added music, just some royalty-free music. So I was doing all that stuff, and then he contacted me and said, like, you know, my mom just passed away. We'd really like it if we had those things soon. And I'm like, yeah, sure. All I had left was the audio. And the biggest thing was the audio. With the audio was I digitized it as audio, but then I also tried to clean it up because there's a lot of noise on the one. Luckily, these two weren't as bad. But I also made like a visualization of the audio.
Okay.
Out of a tool. I just didn't remember what command I had used to do it, so I had to figure that all out again. So that was kind of what was delaying me, was just hook up a tape player to a capture card, record it with OBS, make sure I got it. You know, record for however long, flip the tape, next tape, all that stuff. So, yep. So I did all that. And after he messaged me, I was working on it, and he messaged me again and says, hey, my dad and I are at Crazy Bins. Do you have any interest in mini discs?
Oh, uh-oh.
So him and his dad came across a box of 5 mini discs at Crazy Bins.
Oh.
Brand new sealed tapes, and they are clear plastic. Let me see.
A lot of them are. Oh, they're clear. Okay.
Clear.
A lot of them are colored.
Yeah.
Colored.
Like clear blue.
Yeah. Yeah. Blue and reds and greens are the ones I had.
So blues are the ones that came with my mini disc player, which I think I told you a while ago I got. But he got me these clear ones, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's time for me to try using my mini disc player again, because I had played with it, but when I did play with it, like I got it for free off Facebook Marketplace. Here it is. When I tried playing with it, I can hear the tape sound like it's doing something, but nothing comes on the screen. I never plugged in headphones. I don't know why I never did. But if I just press play, it starts playing, and I can skip tracks, and everything works fine.
Oh, interesting.
So it's just the display that's bad. I was searching for parts one, but they're still like $120 for just a broken parts one on eBay.
Yeah, that's great.
So have fun finding the exact same model. It is fairly common, but it's not the desirable one, so it seems like less people are selling them even. I don't know, but I'll find one eventually, I'm sure. And if not, I can just use it as is. So,
yeah.
That being said, now that I have a bunch of blank tapes...
I was like, what are you going to do with them, though?
I started recording a mixtape. I found there are projects out there for open source mini disc transferring tools. Some of them are even web based, so you can just go to this website, connect your mini disc player to USB, which was also an ordeal since I have no screen. I couldn't tell why it wasn't working. I think one of the problems was the cable I used was a power only cable. It had no data pins. So I used one for my old Yeti microphone, and that didn't work until I opened the tape compartment and closed it again, and then it was recognized by Windows. So it's like the tape player never went into transfer mode or something like that by just pressing play. I don't know.
Interesting.
So it worked. I've got a bunch of songs on there. I need to put more still. I haven't had time to devote to it again.
So where are you listening to this music?
Nowhere right now.
Okay, I was gonna say, what is the purpose of putting it onto a mini disc? Just the fact.
Right now, it's to have one that's my own music, just to do the experience of doing it, so that I know what I'm doing.
Okay, gotcha.
I could listen to it in the car. Is not possible because I don't have an auxiliary plug. On headphones is possible. I could just walk around with it. But honestly, the tape player itself is not the most compact, easy thing. It doesn't have any kind of clip or anything like that to hook it onto your belt or belt buckle or pocket.
So my dad had one that I used for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He bought one. I remember he went to the Sony store and bought it for his work overseas. And I remember because I was still using a Discman and a Walkman and all this
because
stuff.
he did language stuff. Is the main reason, in
translation
case anyone
and
doesn't know. Yeah.
So he wanted something light and compact he could record to. I don't think he actually really used it for that. He ended up using a tape recorder instead because he had a better microphone for it.
Oh, okay.
So the mini disc kind of sat there and didn't get used. And then I convinced my dad to let me use it, because I think my CD player died at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I managed to. You could record off of it. So I remember plugging the mini disc player into the headphone jack of our stereo.
Yeah.
And just recording the music off of a CD onto the mini disc.
Which, when I first heard a mini disc, I thought that was the only way you could record. I didn't know there was any way to do it digitally.
I still didn't know that there was a way to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, then that's how we'd listen to music. So I think I had 3 mini discs. They held a lot of songs, and it just. Yeah.
You can change the quality, but for some reason the quality change didn't seem to, at least in this application, change the amount of time. But an hour and 20 is about what I saw.
Okay.
So,
but still, that's a lot of it's a lot of music. An hour and 20 of music, that's 3 or 4 CDs. So.
No, a CD is an hour 14. But not most CDs don't ship with that.
I was saying, when you're buying an album, it's 20 to 40 minutes, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Just over 10 tracks, 3 minutes each, something like that. Yeah.
So to me, that was just oh yeah, I can put 3 of my favorite albums on here, times 3. That's basically my whole music library.
So I connected these tapes that I got with my mini disc player to figure out what was on them. Some of them were labeled, like this one just called Funny Songs. And it's Duck Job and all those stupid lame ones from Napster days. But then there's a bunch of them that have actual, there's Blink-182 and Sum 41, The Used, Offspring, stuff like that on them. So I figured out which tape was which by putting it in, using that tool that I found online. It shows the titles for each track that's on the disc.
Okay.
And then I was able to figure out which ones are which. And then one of them didn't have a label or a case, so I had to make my own. But yeah. I was impressed that the technology still is supported and used by people a lot.
Yeah. And
just Googling it, there was tons of people. Yeah.
Strange. Cool.
Yeah.
So I gotta see if my dad has his old one. I might steal it from him.
And when Travis came to get all the tapes and everything digitized, I said, no charge. And then I said, how much do you want for the mini discs? He said, no charge. And then he said, by the way, do you want some VHS tapes? And he gave me a bunch of retail VHS tapes, some Disney movies and some DVDs. And my son kept the, I think, Spider-Man trilogy DVD and
Okay.
I forget what else. There was a couple things. Ice Age VHS tape and Ice Age DVDs as well. All 3 movies, I think. Just a whole bunch of random things. And then my kids also got a bunch, like my daughter especially, got a whole bunch of Disney movies upgrades. Like she already had Sleeping Beauty and Aladdin and a whole bunch of other ones. Like there was like 20 tapes, but hers were in worse condition. These ones were Travis's childhood ones that he took good care of, and he was also an only child, so they were really well taken care of. So a lot of those went into her collection, and then her old ones went into the to-sell pile. So
fair enough. I was gonna say, do you have a good condition Aladdin? Because I found something today.
Found them today. Jesus, why can't I breathe?
I found this thing.
Oh, you gonna describe that, or are you just gonna let people not know?
I'm gonna let you describe it. No, I'll describe it.
It's okay.
It's a giant box that says Aladdin on it. Down at the bottom here, it says Deluxe Collector's Video Edition. It's just a purple box
with the genie on it.
With the genie on it, yeah.
Love the genie.
And when you open it, there's, I'm really far from the mic here, but there's an art book. And some paraphernalia. It comes with a making of Aladdin.
Oh. Okay.
Goodness. Over here. Making of Aladdin VHS, which I might get you to. This is on YouTube, but it is in not great quality.
Oh, okay.
If you can get it, it might be better.
I can digitize it for your not legit channel.
Exactly. With a proof of purchase, of course.
Ooh. How else are you going to prove that you purchased it and didn't steal it?
How would I not have it?
And there's something else in there, I see.
With the soundtrack.
It should be good. Soundtrack would be good.
But I don't know if you noticed this, and I
do. That's not the first movie. That's King of Thieves or Prince of Thieves or.
Yep, King of Thieves.
King of Thieves, yeah.
On there. So
it's the wrong movie.
The wrong movie.
I don't know if I have a spare Aladdin.
Well, I mean, I'll find one eventually. It's not it.
I just took pictures of all the movies that I have available, though.
But, anyways, this was at Value Village today.
I do have one. I do have one. Walt Disney Classics Aladdin.
So, I would like to find, just because I've seen the ones online, one that this one comes with is Aladdin in a black case.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that. Well, I'm sending you on Discord a picture of the one that I have, which is just generic.
Generic, yeah.
A Walt Disney Classic Aladdin.
Okay, that one's not. Yeah, that one might. That's about the same one. That's the same one that's in this one. So.
Like same style but different movie. Yeah, the right movie. Yeah.
So I might take that anyway. Just throw it in there.
Well, it's sitting in a box, so you might as well.
Exactly. Actually, I'm torn because this is Aladdin was the very first movie I ever bought with my own money.
Oh, interesting.
And we lived on an apartment on Jane Street in Toronto, and at some point our apartment got broken into, and I believe they stole all of our clamshell Disney movies because they were worth money back then. So,
of all things to steal.
Exactly. Anyways, I'm torn because I do love the movie, and this is really cool, but I also don't have the space for it, and I just bought it because it was cool. So I may also sell it.
And how much does this resell for?
Oh, not too much. It was behind the showcase, and so immediately I'm just like, uh-oh, it's gonna be a lot of money. Lady pulled it down, and it had a price tag of $14.99 on it, and I'm like, that's not bad for something like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And then I opened the box and saw that it was the wrong movie.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, we'll have to send it back to the back, and they'll have to reprice it because it's the whole thing. I'm just like, well, I'm like, are you flexible on this price now? Like, you don't have to send it. Like, I'm willing to buy it, but like, if we can work on the price a little bit. And so she went over to her whatever little machine, and she's just like, I can do it for, I think she said like 1048 or 1049 or something like that.
Where do they pull these
'Cause
numbers from?
it's like a percentage of whatever. So I was like, can you just make it $10? Like,
Yeah.
why? She's like, well, I can make it $9.99 plus tax. I'm like, that's fine. That's the same thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, got it for $10.
So you're the proud new owner.
I am the proud new owner. They only go for like, I don't know, 30, $40 on eBay. So I will probably sell it. I'll bring it to Barry anyway, and if someone wants it, they can have it. But
For a reasonable price.
exactly. So it's pretty cool. I found something else at Value Village today. You want me to show it now, or I
My
can-
wife was saying if you wanted to split another table, she would split another table with you.
Oh, okay.
If that's on the table. I don't know whether you're interested in more space or not, but
I could message Chris and see.
yeah, it also depends on the price too, because it's no longer early bird.
No, well, you might do us a favor.
Maybe he's desperate, but I doubt it. He always seems to sell out. What a sellout!
What a sellout. And then today, another thing. Well, I bought the Disney thing today. The Xbox 360 store has shut down, and that's caused all the 360 games to skyrocket in price. Not all of them, but like the good ones, the ones that people want, the hard to find ones, those ones are through the roof. So
I just saw someone selling Raiders Fighters Aces, Raiden
Okay.
Fighters Aces, sealed for $200 locally.
it's nuts, man. So do you remember me when I sold that giant stack of 360 games to the local reseller Bubba?
Yeah,
And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, he paid me like, I don't know, $400 or $500 for everything.
yeah,
And looking back, like if I had waited till now, again,
Sure.
I wouldn't have the space for it. So I'm not regretting it, but I'm just like, oh yeah, that game that I sold him for $60, that game's now worth $200. So move on down the line.
yeah.
So I'm not
That's funny.
regretting it because it gave me money to do things then.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just kind of a,
Let alone the space to buy more things and store things and do your room how you want. And yeah.
so not the end of the world. But anyways,
Interesting though. I'm surprised that it's affected the market that much.
not so like the common stuff is still common. That stuff doesn't change.
Sure.
But anything that was a little bit obscure is now shooting up because everyone's just like, oh, that's a little bit obscure. I should get it. So even though it was like, say, a $20 game before, the store shuts down. Now it's a $30 game. Then within a week, it's a $40 game, and then it's a $60 game. You know, it's just going.
Raiden Fighters Aces. It's like its absolute peak at the highest CIB was May 2021, $67 Canadian, no American, because the graphs are American. But if you go to just February 2024, it was $45, and now it's shot up to $93 in, that says May.
Yeah.
Okay, August is down to 68. But it is like all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, May seems to be the peak for it. I don't know if that's related to a release of another game of it or if it's to do with the shop or who knows. But it's a sharp peak upward.
And it's a lot of games are just doing that, like straight up.
Yeah.
And again, that's just because the marketplace shut down.
This one's also confusing
it's a spike.
because
it will come back down once everything kind of settles.
Oh, see, someone's got one in here that has the two games, Aces and 4, with the bonus soundtrack, all as one listing. So that's screwing up the price too.
Yeah. Good old.
Anyway. Yeah.
So this game I'd known about for a long time. I found it once before, but it was super scratched up, so I didn't buy it.
You're making me want to go check my Xbox 360 games and just boop them all and check.
You should.
I mean, right now is making you
No.
want
Not right now. You can wait. So I saw this in the showcase again. It was way more money than I like to spend at Value Village, but I looked it up and it was less than a third of what it's currently going for.
Okay.
And that is the Ultimate Alliance
Oh.
1 Gold Edition.
Gold edition? Oh.
So this comes with 8 extra characters and I think a DLC pack.
I don't think I ever even knew there was a gold edition.
So yeah, this is like the complete edition.
See, I never ever kept Ultimate Alliance because I always heard Ultimate Alliance 2 was better.
It probably is. So, but again, the first one. So this is the one I had before. It came in like a double pack, so like that's the.
Yeah, I've seen that one for sure with
The Forza
Forza.
one?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm just like, I'm happy with that. That'll be fine. But then of course I see this one, and I'm just like, well, I'll probably just keep that one then.
Hmm.
So the price of that is redonkulous right now.
I see. Yes, it is. Yeah, like $238 Canadian.
I posted it into a local 360 group that I'm in on Facebook, and I even checked eBay, and one of the guys just said that he just sold his last week for $265 Canadian. So
There's also an Ultimate Alliance Special Edition as well. Platinum Hits. That's 190.
I think that's the same thing. It's a Platinum Hits version of the Gold Edition, I think.
It actually says Special Edition on it.
Oh, interesting.
Right where that one says Gold Edition. No, below Ultimate Alliance, it says Special Edition. And it's the Platinum Hits where it's kind of like zoomed out
Zoomed in.
picture of the
thing
of the original.
There's a border around it.
Yeah.
The ugly one.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, Platinum Hits are more expensive because they made less of them.
Yeah. Yep.
And some of the Platinum Hits are actually rare. But that's mainly original Xbox that I have the list of those for.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's those are my big finds. I bought some more stuff, but not as interesting as that.
Okay. All right. I bought a thing.
All right.
I regret. I'm going to regret telling you that I bought this.
Uh-oh.
Sega Genesis EverDrive.
Listen. You come on this show wearing an Nintendo 64 shirt,
Yeah.
talking about EverDrives. We haven't brought it up in the show because I know it's a point of contention. But come on. What are you doing?
It's just another step towards my ultimate collection of ultimate consoles with all EverDrives.
That you'll never play.
That's fine. My kid can play it. He was playing.
He play Fortnite. He doesn't care about.
No, he loves old games. He does. He'll sit down at any game and play it. But he was just looking through my shelf. I think my wife was talking to him about her original Game Boy and Pokemon. She never played on Game Boy. She played on Super Game Boy on SNES. But he was looking through my 3DS and DS games, and he just comes across one and he goes, "What is this?" And he grabbed the case.
Uh-oh. I hope that it's got a scandalous cover art.
I wouldn't call it scandalous, but you could call it controversial.
Ah, gotcha.
Super combo Pokemon Mario 208 in one.
Know about these? You buy these at Crazy Bin.
Yeah, this is from Crazy Bins. I think it was in the $1 bin. Other times we've been there, it's been in the $10, or they put it in a showcase and mark it up. It all depends. But yeah, I got it from Crazy Bins one time. And I already have like R4 carts. He put it in here, the R4 cart, so I can just get them all, but the problem is getting them. And this one is basically an R4 cart. You can see it has a micro SD card in it, and they just put a piece of tape over it or like a sticker that says like do not remove or something stupid like that. And he's got a list of all the games in the back here, and he's just like, he thought it had Pokemon X and Y on it, and he's just like, I really want to play Pokemon X and Y. I'm like, no, this is not for 3DS. Yeah. Meanwhile, on the case it says new Nintendo 3DS right here. Mm-hmm. And on the cartridge it says the same thing, where it's normally the DS logo, it says new 3DS, but as you know, 3DS has that extra notch on it, and the cartridges are usually white. This is not either of those things, so it's just a DS card. And then you pop it in, he's like, where do I play it? And I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, right here, the one that says SpongeBob.
Yeah.
That's it, because they had to fake some game to make it play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I have the same one, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm fine with it. It works. Yeah. It works just fine. He's up there playing. He was up there playing Pokemon Black 2, I believe. I already have it on the emulation cartridge anyway, the R4 cartridge. I mean, but
Yeah.
this also has an emulator built in and stuff. But
Yeah, it's just for fun, right? Kids,
hmm
kids see something and that's how it works. We were the same way.
yeah. But he does like old games, and he'll play pretty much anything. Like he was, Steam also added a feature called Family Library Sharing or something like that. They added a while ago that was one where you had to log into your account on other people's computer, but this time they have one where you can actually build a family, and you invite your children to that family, and when they're in the family, they can use your games as long as you're not playing that game.
Okay. Yeah.
So now Sean can play my games, or Lauren can play my games, or they could each play one of my games, not the same game, unless they own it. So Sean was just scrolling through his Steam library on his computer, which shows my games because I've allowed it. And he's just like, oh, what's this game? And just installs a random like tower defense game and starts playing it. Like, he just loves games, and I love that he loves just games. Cool. Looked interesting to him, so he just installed it and started playing it. And I've been working from home because I've been sick this week. And Cynthia's been working, so she's been out of the house, and the kids come down here and just start playing games while I'm working on their 2 computers that are here now set up since the LAN party. And he'll just sit there playing anything, Fortnite or whatever else. And Lauren's been playing Tower Unite, which is this like stupid Second Life type game. Like, it's just you're in a virtual world. You can go download skins or characters for yourself that are pretty much every copyrighted character you can think of. They don't care.
No.
And so she's just browsing through them and just picking, like, I'm now a hot dog. I'm now Hello Kitty. I'm now Sonic. Like, those kinds of things. Just anything.
Yep.
I'm a little baby crawling on the floor. Like, that kind of stuff.
Easily entertained.
And you can ride roller coasters, and you can solve puzzles, and you can build a condo and decorate your condo and invite people in or don't. And you can also watch, they have like a movie theater mode where you can just sit in a movie theater, and then you queue up YouTube videos, and you make a playlist, and it'll just play them on the screen inside the world.
Oh, interesting.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Crazy.
Have to watch her when she's playing that, though, because you can't trust everything out there. So.
I was gonna say, like, that's it's open to.
It's pretty open. That's the problem. Yeah. Fun. I think the saving grace is that there's not a huge player base for it. You'll join a server and there'll be like 50 people, not like 300 people. So I mean, yeah, could definitely be worse that way.
Things could always be worse. Just imagine.
Yeah. But like, she came over to me the other day. She's like, I played a YouTube video and now this one's playing, and it just picked a random one, and I don't know what it is, so I don't want to watch it. Can you stop it? I'm like, actually, it looks like someone else added it to the playlist. It's this person. I'm like, if you don't like it, just leave the room. Like, I was just some guy playing a game. It wasn't a big deal, but at least she came over and told me, like, I don't know what this is, and I didn't put it there.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And she's right here.
Learn to walk away.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
That wasn't even planned. I didn't even plan to talk about any of that.
Hey, this is what the podcast is all about. Things just pop up when we talk about it.
Yeah, talk about Everdrive and go into that.
So, how's that N64 challenge going?
Non-existent.
We got to come up with some sort of punishment for not doing this.
Why don't you come over and play?
Come over and play an N64 game for you?
No, together.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can beat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You could run through Mario Kart in an evening. It'd be very easy.
You sure?
Yeah.
Depends on what you consider beating it. I looked at how long to beat, and Mario Kart was not even one of the ones on the radar.
You could do 50cc and run through all the tracks in like 2 hours.
That's not beating the game.
That is beating the game.
No, that's playing on the lowest difficulty.
That doesn't matter.
Just starting the game.
It doesn't matter. You went through all the cups and you beat everybody, you win. I'm not asking for much here, Derek. I'm not asking for much.
Aren't you?
No. And your next challenge is to play and beat one Genesis game.
Hmm.
Just one.
I don't even have Genesis hooked up. I'd have to use Retron.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Use your EverDrive. That was the idea. Is you have to use your EverDrive on your N64, and
Yes, that one makes more sense because I have the console
yes
to
but
match.
not only did you have the EverDrive for the N64, you went through all that effort to mod it to get HDMI into it, and then it just sits there and does nothing.
That was mainly because the mod kit was a deal.
But it was still not cheap. That's my point.
It was free money.
Sure. Okay, Joe.
It was free in terms of I sold things to make up for it, or to make it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I know about free money. I understand.
Yeah.
I think I have a better understanding of free money because I literally take things from the garbage, which costs.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, but I just didn't want to rub it in my own face.
Well, I can rub it in your face for you.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem.
Anytime, right?
Well, other things we did. We went to go see a movie.
We did go see a movie. My God. I wasn't sick at the time.
No,
I think this talking's making it worse.
probably.
Me and you went to see a new movie in a theater
Yeah.
with some friends.
Yeah, multiple friends. We have multiple friends. Can you believe it?
That's true. And even multiple groups of friends.
This was like the merging of my friends groups.
Yeah.
We met up with the Ramble Record Repeat boys, Fraser and Chris, and we went to go and see Deadpool and Wolverine in Orangeville, which is about an hour away. It was kind of like the most central location for all of us.
Yeah.
So we met there, and we met up at, was it Kelsey's? Was that what it was? I think it was Kelsey's.
Yeah? Casey's? Casey's?
No, it wasn't Casey's. I think it
Kelsey's?
was Kelsey's.
Okay. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was right beside a Montana's that we could see, right?
It was Kelsey's, Montana's, and the theater all in the same parking lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, we went in there, had some supper. I also brought my friends Craig and Daryl. We mentioned them in the podcast before. So they got to meet other friends of the YouTube community or podcast community, whatever you call it. So it was fun hanging out. I think we got there really early, so we had like 3.5 hours to kill at the restaurant before the movie. So
Yeah. It was definitely Kelsey's.
there you go.
Not that that matters now, but I have to find answers.
Can't not find answers.
That's correct.
Yeah, and then we went into the movie, which was like literally not even a 5 minute, a 1 minute walk across the parking lot. We were there. So
Yeah, it was a lot.
yeah. There is. I'm just gonna put spoiler warnings out. I think this movie's been out long enough, and not only like we can't really spoil it because Ryan Reynolds is doing a great job of being on social media and just spoiling everything anyway. So
You can't talk about movies because Eric hasn't seen the first one yet.
he hasn't seen the second one yet.
He can't watch them because he hasn't finished the prequel something or other. Something that relates to it.
Deadpool's not.
He can't watch Deadpool 3 because he hasn't seen Blade 1.
Well, spoilers! Spoilers! everything,
The original Marvel movie.
everything's a spoiler.
Yes.
All right. Well, listen. This is Deadpool and Wolverine is just cameo central, and I am all in on it. I loved it. There was some debate after the movie about Deadpool rankings, so I think we should rank them right now and just piss everybody off. So 1, 2, and 3, go.
1, 3, 2? Maybe?
Okay.
That's my thought. I don't remember 2 well enough, but... And I kept thinking while watching this, I'm like, this is not... Like, yes, they say things that are, but this movie is not as perverted as the first one, or even the second, I think.
It seemed to be because the day before the movie, I got off work early. Not on purpose to do this. It just happened to be that way. I got off work early.
Yeah,
I went
you
home,
did tell me about that.
and I watched 1 and 2 the day before 3. So I was up to it, and I wouldn't say that it was any less. It seemed to be about the same. Maybe like slightly, the ever minusculely amount, slightly less raunchy. But I don't think that made it much of a difference.
In the things they said, it seemed on par.
Okay.
But in the things they did, it was nowhere near as the first one.
Okay.
I thought. Because the first one was like wild and crazy and out there and like, you know, him and his girlfriend just doing every position possible.
Yeah.
And all the sexual innuendos and even just him, like when he's got a knife in his brain, he does the hand thing and like that kind of stuff. Physical humor that was sexual was far less, I think.
Okay. That may be. I don't think I was paying attention enough to that.
Only reason I think about it is because Disney. That's the only reason I'm like, oh, did they change something because of that?
Does that make a movie like better having those things in it?
It just, the first one felt like that was going to be part of Deadpool's identity. Mm-hmm. And this one not having that felt like, did his identity change because of time? Because he's now a father? Because Disney's now involved? Marvel? All that crap. I was just, it's something I observed and thought, that seems odd. I wonder if anyone else noticed or if it's just me thinking that. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe. It didn't really strike a chord with me. I found it more of a Wolverine movie than a Deadpool movie. So I wasn't too concerned about it.
I could see that because there was a lot of Wolverine in it.
Which is great, which is what I want. Like I like Wolverine more than Deadpool. I always have. So I was paying more attention to Wolverine than I was Deadpool, even though Deadpool was technically the star of the show. Mm-hmm. So
it felt like they were doing that on purpose, and I don't know if it's like, oh, we got him out of retirement, let's make use of this.
I think so, but this is also them resetting, right? Because Fox no longer controls this. Disney now is in, and I think Marvel's next move is to bring the mutants into the Marvelverse rather than the Foxverse that they were in before. This is their way of resetting it, so they have to bring Wolverine into it to pull it all together. So that's why they're jumping realities.
See, I assumed with this movie that this would still be Hugh Jackman's last time doing Wolverine.
I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back again.
They didn't imply in this movie at all that he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Whereas going into the movie, I thought this was going to be a let's get him out for one last thing, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I thought they were going to try and do.
From the promotional material that I've seen, I can't say, it doesn't sound like he's not doing it again. He hasn't said yes or no. It hasn't been a definitive. Like when he did Logan, he was like, that's it, I'm done.
Yes, yeah. And that's why I thought that it would be one last. Oh, his good friend Ryan Reynolds talked him into it, so he'll do one more.
Yeah.
But
But even then they're saying, are you like when they throw a question right at him and say, are you going to come back or whatever? He doesn't say yes or no. He's like, oh, well, we'll see how it goes, which isn't a no, which means probably.
Let's see if they make enough money to ask me to come back. That's what it sounds like.
They will. They will.
They have, yeah.
Yeah. So, other than that, the movie was great. I loved all the cameos. I think it's great. If I was to order it, having seen 1, 2, and 3 within 24 hours of each other.
That's a luxury I don't have. I haven't seen 1 and 2 in a long time. I
have to go with 3 because I'm more of a Wolverine fan than a Deadpool fan. So 3 to me was still the best. I'm kind of opposite. I'm like 3, 2, 1. I like 1.
Oh.
I see all the budget cut, the budget restraints that they had, and it's still good, but there's a lot of talking and a lot of sets happening in one spot. They don't move around a whole lot.
In 1, you're saying?
In 1, yes.
Oh, okay.
And 2, the villain. I mean, I like Cable. The kid is okay, fine, not a big deal. But I like the whole like X-Force trip through the whole thing, having Domino there. The little gag of having Brad Pitt as the Invisible Man, and you only see him for 3 seconds, and then he's dying, and that's it. You know, like stuff that's more funny.
That's why. Okay, that leads back to something else that I have.
Oh. More complaints. I can see it on your face.
No, it's not a complaint. It's
Okay.
actually kind of funny. I just don't want to spoil what I was going to talk about later. We'll come back to Brad
we can
Pitt.
come back to it.
Let me remember. I gotta write myself a note, and I'm gonna double check IMDb to make sure that I'm remembering that right.
I think I'm a 3-2. I'm a 3-2-1 guy.
Interesting. See, I need to rewatch the one and two. It's been way too long. I don't think I've seen them since they were new, except after 2 came out, they came out with before 2 came out, they came out with they came out with a PG version.
Yes, I have that one on Blu-ray and I haven't watched it yet. But I'm
So I started watching it, but I can't remember if that 2. That was 2, but PG.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 1.
I can't remember anymore. I think it was 2, but anyway, either way, I need to rewatch them. It's been too long.
I found that one on Blu-ray. And I'm like, this is too crazy. I need to watch it and see what they cut from this. 'Cause I can also see Ryan Reynolds making that completely different, being like, well, I can't show you this now. Like the whole fourth wall break in that movie just to make it PG. It would be a funny cut. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. There was a lot of filler in it with him just disposition and stuff, it seemed.
Huh.
From what I remember, but I haven't seen it in over a year.
Isn't it like Christmas themed on the cover?
Mm-hmm. I believe it is Fred Savage being told a story.
He like reading it kind of like Princess Bride?
Yeah. As far as I remember, if that's correct, I believe so.
But I remember
I had it. It's called Once Upon a Deadpool.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah. I think I deleted it. I don't think I have it anymore. It's probably on YouTube.
Oh, do I need an O? I need an O.
Oh,
I could.
Yeah, it's Deadpool telling a story to Fred Savage, who's laying in bed like a kid.
Yeah. Okay. I could maybe watch that as my O movie because it
has Domino and Cable, so it is number 2.
It's number 2. Okay. It's probably. See, this gets into. I remember Kevin and Richard talking about like if you watch a movie but it's a different cut of a movie, but you've seen it before but you haven't seen this cut of it. Is it that different?
That's interesting. See, I almost argue that this is enough of a change.
That's what I'm.
But it depends if they've added enough new stuff, really.
Or just for every time they cut away from something to make it PG, if Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool is coming in and changing it enough to make it feel like something, even though it's the same story, but it's completely different. I wonder. There's an argument to be made that would count as a new movie. Versus like say Blade Runner where you're watching, the original cut, the director cut, the final cut.
Yeah.
The arrangement is different, but there's maybe 5 minutes of difference between all the cuts.
So the plot says a kidnapped Fred Savage is forced to endure Deadpool's PG-13 rendition of Deadpool 2 as a Princess Bride-esque story that's full of magic and wonder and 0 Fs.
Okay. I will reserve judgments afterwards after I watch it to see if it's actually counts as a new movie.
I don't think I made through the whole thing. I think at one point I thought this is basically just the original movie with some little things in it, so why am I watching this?
Okay.
Or sorry, not original movie, the second movie, you know what I mean.
Movie. But there'd be no F-bombs and stuff like that. So.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. To be determined.
Yeah, why not? You can just watch another thing, right?
Yeah.
It's only time. They make it every day.
Yeah.
Well, I have TV.
Okay, before we get into TV and stuff, there's more stuff that we did.
3 movies. We did more?
Well, I did more.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm just telling you what I have.
Okay.
I think that's all. I was going to do some kind of quiz game thing for today, but time got away from me, and
well, we'll see how our recording time is too. Like I have, we're already at an hour 10, so. So I went up to the cottage, like I said, to be with my family for the week. This is the extended, or my wife's family getaway. My family went up on the Saturday, the day of your LAN party, so they went up, and so I decided I would wait and go the next day. I was going to go on a motorbike trip this year with my friend Daryl. That didn't end up happening, so maybe get pushed off to next year. So I was like, this will be my chance to ride my motorbike up. It's about 4.5 hours up to where we were up. We were not near Halliburton. So 4.5 hours to get up there. I'm like, great, this will be my chance to ride a bike, and it'll be kind of like my mini bike trip there and back over the week. So on the way up, the idea was I wouldn't bring anything with me. I didn't want to travel with like saddlebags or backpacks or anything. I just wanted to like me and my gear on the bike and go. I think my wife forgot a few things. I had to strap one back to the back seat just to bring stuff up.
I was waiting for like a worst case scenario here.
It wasn't bad. It was just in a little Adidas like knapsack that just bungee down to the back and not interfere.
I forgot about what else we did recently, but that's once you said your wife, I remembered.
Okay.
That's anyway.
So I was looking at the weather, and it was supposed to rain, and all my rain gear is old and doesn't work anymore. I'm like, if I leave at this time, I was looking at the radar clouds. I'm like, this is my route. I could probably like get right between those clouds, and I'd be okay. That was my plan. So I got on the bike and was going. I hit about Fergus. I hit some sprinkling, but I was okay, which is only about 40 minutes away, 30 minutes away. A little bit of sprinkling, I was okay. And it was pretty much that all the way. It was like on and off sprinkles until about just south of Barrie. So my plan was to meet up with Bill, our friend from STC Pod, meet up with him for lunch. Just before Barrie, there was a rogue black cloud that is just torrential downpour. So 15 minutes before I'm to meet Bill, I am now soaking wet. Like completely wet. My shoes are swimming pools. It's ridiculous. So anyways, I get over to Bill's house. I get off all of my stuff, and now I'm wet. And now the idea, I was gonna go with him in his car, but now I'm all wet, so I feel bad. But I managed to get my backpack and put it on the. He's got leather seats, right? I want to sit wet on his leather seats. So, anyways,
a towel.
Yeah, it worked out. Anyways, I threw all my stuff in his trunk, and then we got in, and I put my backpack on the seat so I wouldn't get it too wet. I dried out a little bit by there, but not much. Then we went to a little tavern pub. I forget what it's called. For some wings. He's been raving about these wings, so we went there and we had some chicken wings. So and we hung out for 2 hours, like 2.5 hours there, eating. He usually goes on wing night, so it's like, I don't know, it's like $1 a wing or whatever it is.
That'd be good.
So he was saying, he usually gets a pound of wings, but he's gonna get 2 pounds of wings this time, just because it's probably not enough to fill him up. So I'm like, all right, I'll go off of what you say, Bill. You've been here before. Okay. So he orders 2 pounds of wings, and so I also order 2 pounds of wings. When you order a pound of wings, each pound of wings comes as a combo. So now I have 2 pounds of wings, 2 servings of fries, and 2 servings of, I forget what it was, like a coleslaw or something else. I forget what it was.
Okay.
But it was just so much food. It was ridiculous. They brought out 2 baskets that are like full meal size plates of food. So Bill has the option to carry some of this home in a bag.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think he was hoping you'd leave it in his fridge.
Maybe. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I gotta get through these wings. And I downed 2 pounds of wings and like 3/4 of the fries, and just like feel like this bloated piece of crap. Just yeah, it was pretty crazy. So anyways, I didn't have to pack anything up, but I didn't have to eat dinner.
Speaking of wings, I thoroughly enjoyed those Kelsey's boneless wings before the movie. Those were really
Did you?
good.
Yeah,
Yes, they were really good.
There's a. I told Bill next time he comes in town. There's a little bar in Cambridge that my wife and I go to, and they have the best wings I've had. They're better than Morty's or anything else we've had in the area. So.
That's a claim.
It is a claim. So at some point, you and I.
Give me the name of this place or let's go.
I will take you. I would like to go with you because I want to see this thing. We'll do a double date.
I had a thing for over 10 years. Everywhere I would go somewhere new, I would try the honey garlic wings and decide what place had the best honey garlic wings. Like
I did that
was what I did everywhere.
Time.
Yeah?
Nachos, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I found a great place with nachos and then they closed. And then I stopped looking for nachos.
You're not going to find the next great nacho place? Come on.
My tastes have diversified.
My wife and I always tell each other, like, we find a good place and then it closes down, and then we say to ourselves, like, we didn't go there enough. We didn't support them enough. Like, when you find a good place, you need to go more. Yeah. Happens all the time. Yeah.
So, anyways, I jumped back on my bike. I was gonna hang out more with Bill, but the time at the tavern, whatever, and I still had another 2 hours to go to get up to where I needed to go, and I was just like, I would love to hang out with you, Bill. I'm still wet, first off, and I'd be sitting on your couch wet. So I'll get back. The sun came out. I was like, I'm
sure you had a robe you could have worn and put your clothes in the dryer.
That's true. Maybe yeah. Bill, can I borrow your bathrobe, please?
We would have loved to get you naked, I'm sure.
I'm sure. That's just that was a secret all along.
Yeah.
That was his plan.
He was doing a rain dance on the way there.
So the sun came out. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it back on the bike. I'll get moving. The airflow in the sun will dry me out more. So, sure enough,
it just made you cold.
No, it was good. It was warm. It warmed right up.
Okay.
I got some gas. Got back on the highway. Within like 30 minutes of like hot air going through me at speed, I was pretty well dry, other than my shoes, because they'll just take forever to dry. But by the way, my shoes took like 3 days to dry at the cottage just because they were soaking wet and it was hard to get enough sun on them. I debated putting them in the dryer on low just to try to get some heat into them, but
yeah.
Anyways, so within 30 minutes I was dry, and then another 30 minutes after that,
it started raining.
It started raining again. So I was dry, then I was wet, then I was dry.
Man, I'm kind of liking the not having a motorcycle thing.
You know, it was fun. I took the back ways up. I went through some old, because I used to live up in that area, so I got to drive, like, I lived in Aurelia, so I drove past, like, my old house and my old street, my old church.
You do that in a car.
And stuff. Yeah, well, I know, but... Anyways, it was a fun little experience for me, because I hadn't been there since I was, 16.
Okay, yeah.
So it's weird for me being like, I remember riding my bicycle down these streets.
Yeah.
Riding my motorcycle down these streets. Just a cool little upgrade in my mind. So, anyways,
the path where I used to ride my bicycle is the path I walked on to propose to my wife.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah.
So it's a memory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Core memories.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I got up to the cottage, soaking wet, cold, because it was very, very cloudy and chilly. And some of the roads I was on were very shaded as well. So I'm not only getting the rain, then I'm getting the tree slick rain as well. But my gosh, it was a great ride. Other than the rain. So in my mind, I'm just like, don't worry, it'll be fine because I'll dry out, and I still got to do it all the way back, and it'll be nice when I go back. So we were there for like a week at the cottage, and it was great. We had fun. We were, kneeboarding. We actually got, I don't know if you know what like a stand-up paddleboard is.
Yeah.
So we figured out that I could get towed on that behind the boat.
Okay.
Use that kind of like a wakeboard, but it's just way more stable. So that was pretty fun. We did some fishing and a bunch of stuff. So it was fun. This was with my with the family, with the sister-in-law that I don't get along with.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit more on this one. It was also funny because everyone knows we don't get along, but the amount of times that her and I were left alone together.
Oh.
happened a lot, like at least 6
Intentionally.
times. I don't know. It almost felt like once a day at some point, just her and I were left alone. Like we had to go to the cottage. So the cottage we were at was like up this really steep driveway across the street. So if you want to go to the beach, you had to walk down this driveway, walk down the road about, a minute, and then turn down another driveway, and then go in down to the water.
Okay.
So we ended up figuring out that we're just going to drive up and down, because to walk back takes 5 minutes, and you're walking up, a 45-degree incline.
Okay.
So you do that once, and you're just like, I don't want to. Now I have to go back to the beach to cool off, because it's such a workout getting back up there. So we just started driving the cars back and forth. My mother and father-in-law have a pickup truck, so we just pop the tailgate down, throw all the kids in the back of the pickup truck. It's a 1 minute drive back. So
Yeah.
and it just kind of like heralds back to what we did when we were kids. Just get in the back of the trunk and go where you need to go.
Mhm.
But it so many
It's
times
no
it ended up
station wagon, but
close enough.
I remember that. I remember going to see drive-in movies in the back of a station wagon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we threw the kids in the back of my Forester as well. Like if the truck wasn't there, in the back of the Forester, or my brother-in-law has a Highlander, so whichever car was there, you just throw the kids in the back. Call it a day and drive them down. It was fun. But it, like, however many times it was her and I stuck, like, taking the kids up. She had to go up anyway, and then I was taking the kids up, so she would get in the car with me and we'd go up, that kind of thing. Constantly. It always happened. But anyways, it was noticed that we had talked a little bit more than usual. So I think some people were happy to hear that, but I don't know how I feel about it yet. So we'll see. Anyway, not the point of this podcast.
It's not. I thought we were going to solve all your family problems.
Drama. This is my therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a good therapist.
Neither am I. So I think it was Wednesday. We needed to do our grocery run. So I told my wife, I'm like, hey, like, let's just ride the bike into Halliburton. It's like a 20 or 30-minute drive. The roads are beautiful, so we can ride out there. We took 2 backpacks and a cooler. So the idea was we just fill the backpacks and bring them back. So rode all the way out to Halliburton, got into the food land there, filled up. So I have a backpack sitting on the front of me, sitting on my gas tank. My wife is carrying a bag cooler in between us, and then she has a backpack on the back as well with her groceries. Which was fine. And I knew, like, I was very close to running out of gas when I got to the cottage, and there was no gas station really in between the cottage and Halliburton. Not an issue. We got to Halliburton fine, and I was like, I also need to get gas on the bike. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go get gas. So I started up the bike, and I went to start going, and the bike just died. It wouldn't go any further. So in my mind, I'm just like, all right, I'm running out of gas, clearly. So I have a reserve fuel cock on the thing.
Okay.
So I just turned it to reserve, got it running again. Same thing, wouldn't go. I finally did manage to get it going and moving. I got out onto the road and it died. I'm not joking, on the line of me making a left-hand turn. So I'm crossing traffic.
So an Africa crash.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
But remember that I have 2 people on this bike, both of us wearing backpacks and a cooler.
Yeah.
And I'm stalled in the middle of the road, blocking 2 lanes of traffic. So I have no choice but to try to waddle my puny little legs with enough effort to get out of the way. It was just such a stupid sight you'd ever seen. Anyways, managed to get off the road into a parking spot, got the bike started again, and it just became an issue where I could, every time I gave it throttle, it would just die. So I'm like, this is
running too rich.
I don't know. I have no idea. So I figured out that I could just turn, my bike is carbureted.
Okay.
So I have a manual choke. So I turned my choke all the way on, and I was able to use the choke as my accelerator because it's just gas on. And I used that and the clutch to get all the way down the road to the gas station. Perfect. Problem solved. Fill up with gas.
No. Gas wasn't the problem.
And I filled up with premium gas just in case it was an issue.
Okay.
Not
the problem.
Same thing.
Yeah, that wasn't the problem.
No.
Unless you had some sediment in the tank and it's finally getting sucked in, But you have a filter on the tank, I'm assuming, like on
You
the
would
line
think,
going.
yeah, I have a fuel filter.
Yeah. And like your filter could still be clogged from what's at the bottom of the tank, but
Yeah.
I assume it takes from the bottom of the tank all the time anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a gravity feed.
Yeah. So then there's not like there's any difference
Yeah.
between what's being grabbed before and now.
Yeah.
So that doesn't.
I don't know. Anyways, so I ended up going. It's one of those old country town, Halliburton. I don't know. It's not a big town. Halliburton is very small.
It's famous, but not big.
Not big. Went into the gas station there. There was also a garage attached. I was like, does anybody know anything about motorcycles? And they all just kind of looked at me and go like, no.
Say carburetors. Do you know about carburetors? Lawnmower motor.
Basically. Anyways, there was like an old timer customer in there, old time guy, and he's just like, I explained the problem. He's just like, oh, sounds like I have that issue with my chainsaw all the time. He's like, put a little cap full of seafoam in it.
Seafoam, which is a cleaner?
Basically like a tank gas cleaner, fuel cleaner. Same idea. It's kind of like a miracle thing. So if your lawnmower is not working or your chainsaw, you just put a little cap full of seafoam. It clears out your carburetor, clears out your fuel lines, blah blah blah. It's almost like running like pure like alcohol through your lines.
Yeah, carb cleaner is the same thing, but
same idea.
I think.
So you just pour a little bit in your gas tank and go.
I think seafoam, the key to it is it's a foam instead of being a pure liquid, I think.
It is a pure liquid. I think it's just called seafoam.
Oh, okay.
So
it's a branding thing.
It's a brand name, yeah. But meanwhile, my wife is freaking out because we have food and we have a cooler of food that's getting warmer as we go. It's a warmer day. And it's going to take 30 minutes for someone to come and get it. So she's calling her mom to come and get the food. And also to come and get the bike if need be, because they have the truck. They have the only truck available.
Yep.
Which we're not sure that my bike would actually fit in the back. They have a Honda Ridgeline. And
I was wondering.
Not a long bed.
And tie down points, and even if you got the tailgate down.
Yeah, it'd definitely be like riding with the tailgate down kind of thing.
Okay.
Anyways, I put the seafoam in. I let it run for 10 minutes, and then sure enough, it cleared the problem up. It was fine. So again, called her mom saying, we got the bike running. Turn around, go back, and we just jumped on the bike and rode the bike all the way back to the cottage, and it was fun.
So it wasn't idling well before.
It was idling fine.
Oh, sorry. It's when you gave throttle. Yes. Okay.
When I gave it gas, it wouldn't go.
Yeah.
So then I was looking at the weather, and I was supposed to leave on Saturday. Everyone's supposed to leave on like 10:30 Saturday morning. We're supposed to be out of the cottage. It was all supposed to rain on Saturday. So I looked at the weather, and Friday was supposed to be a lot better. So I said, I'm just going to leave on Friday. Other people are leaving on Friday as well. It was only like my wife and kids and her parents that were staying from Friday to Saturday. Everyone else had gone at that point. So again, I stayed on Friday to load up the kids, or load up everything that I could into the car, so that my wife could just basically like help clean the cottage and then get in the car and go kind of thing. She wouldn't have a lot to do. So by the time I was getting ready to leave, it was about 3 o'clock-ish. I was ready to leave. So I said goodbye to everybody. Say goodbye to my kids, my wife, mother and father-in-law. See you later, blah, blah, blah. Go out, start the bike up. All my gear on, everything ready to go. Go to give it throttle, and it dies. So,
pause for suspense / coughing.
Yes. As you do the same. And so I'm just like, I'm just at a loss. So I get the seafoam out. I put another capful through just to see if it needs a little extra. And I kind of get it going, kind of not. And then at some point it just cuts out. And then I can't even get it started anymore. So now I'm actually stuck because I can't get, even if I could get the bike running, I no longer trust it to get me home. Because at some point I'm going to have to shut the bike off and I'm going to have to put gas in it, and then it's not going to get started again for whatever reason. So how am I going to get this bike home? I could put it in the Ridgeline, but it came up with a whole bunch of stuff in it.
That's
we don't
what I
have
was
room.
gonna say.
We don't have room to put all the stuff that was in the bed of the truck into the Subaru or inside the cab. I was just at a loss. We have no cell signal up there. There is a Wi-Fi router, but it is so slow. It is terrible.
Yeah.
And there is a landline phone, touch tone landline phone. So I go inside, and everyone went down to the beach. I said, "Listen, you guys just go. Like, no point being here. If I get it started, then I'll leave or whatever. If I figure it out, then I'll go. But if not, I'll still be here. I'll let you know before I leave, kind of thing." So I go inside. I get on my this shitty internet, and I'm looking up U-Hauls because that's my only option. I was thinking, like, can I call my dad? He would have to drive up with my trailer. He'd stay the night, then we'd all leave in the morning. Or I was looking on Facebook, like, trying to find like a cheap trailer for sale
to tow behind either the Ridgeline or the Subaru.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Get anything to get it home. So I was just like, you know what? I'll get a U-Haul. I look up U-Haul. The closest U-Haul is in Bancroft, and it's an hour away.
Okay.
So I'm calling. They're not answering. It's 3:30 at this point.
On what day of the week? A Friday.
On Friday night. We have to be out of the house, out of the cottage by 10:30 the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, and then I'm just like, they're not answering the phone. The other U-Haul places don't seem like they really have much selection. All the reviews are just like, call well in advance to make sure they have something or whatever. So this one looked like the most promising one, even though there's not a U-Haul center. It's kind of like one of those community U-Haul depot things where it's like it's a store, but they're also U-Haul.
Oh, okay.
So they weren't answering. So I immediately start like thinking about what I'm going to do. I'm in the basement getting a tape measure so I can measure my bike to see how much big of a trailer I need, whatever. Faintly, I hear this phone ringing upstairs because I'm in the basement. I run upstairs, pick up the phone. I'm like, hello. And they're like, hi, this is so-and-so. Someone just tried to call here and we didn't answer it. I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm trying to get a hold of U-Haul. And she's like, yeah, that's here. Because when they picked up the phone, it said, hi, this is the name of the store or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to get U-Haul. Yeah, that's here too. Okay, great. Anyways, we go through the arrangements. I'm like, I need a trailer for this, blah, 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 blah. She's like, great. We close at 5. So it's now 3:45 by the time I get this phone call.
And it's an hour drive.
And it's an hour drive.
Good.
So I said, I will be there in an hour, if not before, or maybe shortly after, I will be there. So I jump in my Subaru. I don't say goodbye to the family. I just jump and I drive like a freaking maniac to get there in time. Drive through Halliburton. I'm doing ups and downs, left and rights. I'm running right along guardrails beside lakes. There are deer running, no joke, deer running across the highway.
And he was never seen again.
I was never seen.
That's how the stories usually go when someone's lost and drove into the river.
Yeah, pretty much.
And never found.
Anyways, I get there with like 10 minutes to spare. Get in. It said like a deli butcher shop place.
Nice.
That also has this thing.
And they don't have the trailer anyway.
They have a couple trailers there. It worked, but I didn't know what they had before. I ordered like an enclosed trailer.
Okay.
When I got there, I saw they had a motorcycle trailer, one that has like a wheel chock in it.
5x9 utility trailer with ramp. Great for hauling motorcycles and golf carts.
You're on the U-Haul website.
I am on the U-Haul website. Easy load ramp.
Mm-hmm.
$90.
Yep, pretty much. So I was like, I said I know I ordered the enclosed trailer, but can I take the motorcycle trailer? Yep, that's no problem. By the way, this place, real like country bumpkin store.
Mm-hmm.
The lady was nice enough, but I'm like, oh, I'm actually like, I'm here to get my motorcycle broke down. I got to get my motorcycle back to Waterloo. She's like, oh, that's too bad. There's been a lot of motorcycle deaths up here lately. There's been like 20 this year. I'm like, gee, thanks. That's what I need to hear right now.
Well, at least you're not riding the motorcycle anymore.
I was like, I know. just going on and on about all these deaths, whatever.
Ah.
By the way, it's a deli store convenience, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
She has like a dining room table off to the side. She's sitting there eating her food, watching Revenge of the Nerds, I believe it was. And there's just like
I have not seen that movie or the second one in so long.
this was the TV
I
edited
keep
version
meaning
because it
to.
was right at the point where they're doing the panty raid in the girls' dormitory. And I was like,
Yeah,
is this the
okay.
unrated or the unedited? No, it's the edited version. We missed all the
Yeah.
anyways, the there are butter tarts and custard tarts sitting out on the counter, not covered, in a deli butcher shop with there are flies flying around.
So maybe don't eat there. Maybe.
I was just like, this is ridiculous. You know this is a country store. When? Yeah, and you can see like all the products on the shelves have like a layer of dust on them.
Yeah.
Like they've been sitting there forever.
Yep.
No one's going there for the convenience. They're going there for the deli meat. I'm sure the deli's fine, but I was just like, this is.
I'm not sure if I'd eat meat there either.
Anyways, hook up this trailer. My car, my Subaru Forester, has a CVT in it, which is technically rated to tow nothing. If it were to tow, let's be generous and say 1,000 pounds. This trailer empty weighs 1,250. And I was going uphill.
I was going to say, at least there's no mountains in that area, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No hills.
No hills at all.
Nice and flat ground.
Yeah. Not real rocky and yeah.
My car was not happy bringing that thing back. Could definitely feel it struggling. So I was just like,
car's like, had to ride your bike.
Yeah, had to ride it. You just had to ride it. And I'm just like, there's no way I'm towing this with the Subaru with all of our gear in it. Like the car was still packed with all the stuff that I'd packed in it before.
Yeah.
To leave the next day.
On top of that.
Yeah.
Well, my off-road trip coming up in October is only an hour away from where you were, Bancroft.
Yeah, it was close. I if my bike was working, I was considering of going down there and just looking around, but we were having too much fun at the beach, so I never got away.
Yeah.
Anyways, I had to fill up the gas too, so I went into another. Again, there's no gas between Bancroft and Halliburton, so I got there kind of on fumes to Bancroft. Turned around, went back. There was one little country gas station on the way back. I went in there, and I pull up. It kind of looks like one of those full serve places, but no one came out to serve me. I was just looking like an idiot, like just kind of standing around the pumps.
You already looked like an idiot. It's fine.
I know, more like an idiot. So then I was like, you know what? I know how to pump gas. So I'm just gonna start pumping gas. Goodness. Coffee.
Sorry, sir, you can't do that here.
So I start getting ready to go. Then this guy starts walking out. He's a young guy. He looks out, I don't know, maybe, late teens, early 20s. Comes out, and he's like, "Oh, how are you today, sir?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm good. Am I allowed to pump my own gas, or I gotta wait for somebody?" He's like, "Oh, you look like you know what you're doing. You can do it." I'm like, "Okay, all right, that's fine. I do it in the city all the time, so not a big deal for me." He's like, "Yeah, I've got to. I was cooking some bacon and some eggs in there, and of course everything had to. When someone came, I couldn't leave that on the stove. I had to finish that up quick before I could come out, so that's why I was a little bit late coming out."
Alrighty then.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I didn't see a sign, so I just assumed I could do it myself. Yeah. I just couldn't leave the bacon alone. I couldn't leave the bacon back there. So I had to finish that first.
I heard you.
I was like, yeah. I know the feeling. That's what I said to him. Yeah, I know the feeling. So, anyways, that's just like these old country bumpkin stores just make me laugh, man. It's just funny. Anyways, drove the Subaru back with the car. Put the bike on it. I've actually put the trailer on the back of this Ridgeline because it has a higher towing capacity.
Yeah.
Back.
Okay.
So, but then I had to also drive the Ridgeline back because my mother-in-law does not feel comfortable driving with the trailer on the back.
Gotcha. That's
And my father-in-law
that's
can't
fair.
drive because he has had a stroke. So
Yes.
it was up to me, which was good. Anyways, at least we figured it out. I managed to get it back, which was the big thing. So, I dropped it off like immediately. Just took it to the bike shop. I could have brought it back and dealt it, but I was just like, you know what? I've learned from my plumber mistakes last month. If I mess with it and make it worse, it's going to cost me more money. So I'm just going to take it in and let them deal with it. I still haven't. I don't have it back yet. This is cough episode right now.
Yeah, this is great, huh?
So,
The coughing episode. That's
Yeah.
what it's called. Or just call the episode "Cough." That's
no,
it.
I think it's. I can't leave the bacon alone.
Had to finish the bacon.
Sorry, couldn't leave that bacon alone by itself. Had to watch that. Finish that up. Yeah.
Well, you talked about Xbox 360 games earlier, so I had to go into my collection app, which apparently has a manual update prices option. And when I did that, my collection value went from $10,000 to over $13,000.
Oh wow.
It's been a while since I did the
much of
function.
just Xbox games?
No, this
Or
is
is
the
that
whole
like the whole
collection.
game?
Yeah, it's the whole collection. Xbox
I was gonna
games.
say,
I
damn,
have
Xbox
66
Whoa.
Xbox 360 games, but Fatal Inertia is up at $138, and I think that's
know.
US. And then
I remember
Blitz
pushing
the
that game.
League 2, $100.
I remember
Rumble-
pushing Fatal Inertia because I had
Yeah.
2 copies of it,
Yep.
and I was telling people it's a Koei game. I forget who. Maybe I was even telling Joe, AC Decepticon. I was just like, "You should get this game. Like, this is a pretty cool game." I don't
Yeah.
think anybody ever bought it. I think I ended up selling it out with the bundle to Bubba.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No one ends up taking me up on it. Listen,
Remember
people, listen
Xbox
to me.
Live Arcade Game Pack? Remember how cheap that used to be?
Yeah.
It's $52 now.
Oh, really? Jeez.
Yeah, for Xbox Live Arcade Game Pack.
Which one? There's 3 of them.
The one that has Luminous Live, Geometry Wars, and Bomberman Live.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the more uncommon one
That's
of
the
the
more
3,
uncommon
but
one
it's
for
still
sure. Yeah. I think I have that one actually.
Konami Classics Volume 1 and 2 have gone way up too.
Yeah.
Simpsons game, Rumble Roses XX, Blur. That game is always supposed to be rare, but never went up in value until now. Apparently, it's $62.
Yeah.
Capcom Digital Collection,
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot, Mind Over Mutant. I don't even know why I have that game, but now it's over or over $50. Akai Katana, Death Smiles. Yeah.
All games I let go to Bubba. So he's
Worms
Wow.
Collection. Worms Collection.
yeah.
You
I
got
got
that from
access to that
me?
too?
It's only $40.
No, you got that from me.
Oh, sorry, I got it from you. Yes, other way around. I traded you for a DS. No, that was a separate purchase, right?
I don't.
I got a
remember.
DS from you. Yeah, for my niece. I don't know if she still has it. Why do I still have a Cars game for Xbox 360? I was probably hoping my son would play that. Anyway, yeah. Not the things I expected to go up in value, although some of them I did. But,
Speaking
And
of
all the-
internet,
all
I
the-
also had to upgrade my internet or change my internet.
yeah.
I didn't
Are you
have to-
talking about possibly having to do that?
Well, I was with Fido before, which is like through Rogers,
Yeah.
and then they sent me an
Okay.
email like 6 months ago saying we're discontinuing service in your area. Please
Okay.
upgrade to Rogers.
I think you told me that. Yeah.
And I just didn't upgrade to Rogers, and I didn't upgrade to Rogers, and I didn't upgrade to Rogers. And then
And then?
this month so I was just like, I need to do it because this was the last month. They finally sent me an email saying, end of August is the cutoff. Like, you need to change over. Here's the link. And I had them calling me, and I had Rogers calling me, basically. So, when we got back from the cottage, we were at the mall, and we were looking at something, and then we happened to be outside of the Virgin Mobility kiosk, and they brought out a sign, and they like taped it up saying like, today only, get internet for like unlimited internet for $45 a month. So I've been overpaying for Fido because they cut my deal off. I was
Okay.
overpaying, but I didn't want to get into another contract with something else and cancel it and get locked into something else, which I think everything is pretty much contractless nowadays. But
Probably. I don't know. I
It was-
don't. I do tech savvy.
yeah, it was the combination of I don't want to start something right now. I want to wait for a better deal.
Yeah.
And just ultimately laziness. I didn't feel like looking up all these.
And it all worked out for Josh.
It all worked out. So I went to the Virgin. I'm just like, hey, before when I was looking like a month ago, there were no deals anywhere. Virgin seemed to have the best option. So I was just like, I went to Virgin. I stood there. I got right in. There was no one around. I didn't have to line up.
Yeah.
So I just signed up for service right there in the mall. I'm like, great.
I wouldn't be surprised if the deals start coming in September when it's back to school, but that's too late for you.
So I went back to the, wife and kids were eating at the food court. I went in, I'm just like, oh, this is what I got. And I said, you know what? I remember, they had their back to school deal on. I wonder if, because I'm with Kudo for my phone, which is under TELUS. I was like, I wonder if they have an internet deal. So I look on their website. Sure enough, they have an internet deal that's the same as Virgin, but less money. And I get an extra $20 off because I'm a mobile customer.
I was going to say, can you bundle? Yeah.
So now I'm paying $20 less for the same as Virgin.
So you didn't sign up for Virgin, but you did?
Well, I did sign up for Virgin.
And then you canceled it?
And then I signed up for Kudo. So at the time, I had 3 internet plans.
And Roger's calling you every day to try and get you signed up with theirs.
Yeah. So anyways, I went home immediately, and I was on the phone with Virgin saying, listen, I'm sorry, I forgot to check this. I made up some excuse of I signed up, and then 30 minutes later I got an email offer from Kudo, and it's a better deal, so I'm sorry I wasted every time. Can you just cancel this? And I had to go through all this customer retention BS, and I just kind of blew some smoke up their asses about this. Listen, I love Virgin. You were the first company I went to. If Kudo doesn't work out, I'll come right back to you guys. Don't worry about it. It's just priced right now. And they're just like, yeah, no worries. They're so happy to let me go. We left under concern. But yeah, anyways, Kudo got up and running yesterday. I got up and running. It's all self-install, so.
I see.
So now I have to go in and cancel. I have to wait till that one kicks in before I cancel my Fido.
Yeah.
So now
tomorrow, internet bliss.
Tomorrow I have to call in and cancel my Fido. So it's just chain. Yeah.
So your motorcycle still doesn't run. Is that what we also determined?
Motorcycle still doesn't run. None. It's been dropped off. And then I was training. I got back, immediately started training somebody. So normally I would have been like, oh, if I'm in the area, I'll swing by and drop my keys off. But if I'm training somebody, it feels weird doing that, running a personal errand while I'm training someone.
Yeah,
I don't. And then, we would finish early, and then I would run over there and drop it off, the key, because they didn't have a key drop. I just dropped my bike in the parking lot, and they didn't have a key drop. So that's what I was trying to get to them, and I locked the bike up, so it's just sitting locked.
Where's your motorcycle go?
To what? There's a motorcycle up on Weber and Columbia.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. Yep. They have all the bikes or the
ATVs,
4-wheelers outside. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's where I figured. It's the only one I know of. That's why I was figuring that one, because I don't know of anywhere else.
But it's literally
for
me.
I've also wondered whether that place is any good, because I drive by there all the time. I'm like, side by sides.
Yeah, it's good. I've always taken my bike there. People there are nice. Yeah, they've
been there forever.
They've been there forever.
And every store around them has pretty much changed out and not been there long and stuff. Yeah. And
a lot of places are dealer owned in some way, but this is like an independent place.
Oh, okay.
It's family owned.
Interesting.
So I don't mind supporting them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me, so I dropped it off on Saturday, then it took me till Thursday afternoon before I could drop the key off. And I walked in,
and they didn't work on it before they got the key. They don't bother.
They couldn't get it started. How they get the key?
I figured they'd hotwire it or something. Just bleh, it's easy.
Yeah. But then I also had my steering lock on, so they'd have to break my steering lock to get it on.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, they just left it. I'm surprised. They knew. So the guy who works there, the owner, I know him because I've taken my bike there forever. They did an engine swap on that bike. They've done so much work for me on that thing.
So it's their fault.
Every time I come in, he's looking at me. He's just like, "You still have that bike? You still have the bike?" I've had that bike longer than I've been married. So coming up on more than 15 years, I've had that motorbike.
Yeah.
And I walked in and he saw me, and pretty much without me saying much, he's just like, "I wondered if that was your bike," because I haven't ridden it much in like the past 2 or 3 years, so it hasn't been in. But he was just, it comes up and he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I remember that bike." Got a reputation.
Yeah.
So.
That's the cheap garbage guy.
The cheap garbage. There's a cheap garbage bike. So
yeah.
every time I go in there, he's just like, when are you gonna buy a new bike? I was like, one day.
When you give me one for free. Now I'm on their website. Check out the pre-owned stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I was training a guy last week, and now it hasn't even been a week by myself, and then tomorrow I'm training another guy. So we had another guy quit on Friday.
Oh my god!
I'm down to one person that I've trained in the past 6 months is still there.
Sounds like you don't ask enough pay.
I don't know, man. Well, the guy who quit said it was too tough on his knees, and he was a bigger guy, so
okay,
I could understand.
Like in and out of the truck kind of thing, or
yeah, because you're in and out of the truck 3 or 4 times per stop, right? So it's tough.
But you're not carrying stuff or loading things. It's all drop and load kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked quite a bit now.
No one wants to hear me cough the whole time.
Hold on. Hold on 1 second. We're back. That was nothing for the audience, but for us it was like half an hour.
That was the longest break we've ever taken while recording,
yes,
and it's because we're both coughing our brains out.
Not to say that we're gonna stop coughing now, but
no, it's better than it was.
Better than it was. We were both struggling to get through that last segment there. So.
There's segments?
I've just been talking in stories in general, so yeah. So we should probably get onto like TV and movies, or we're gonna run out of time. I can see that going for another hour. So.
There's a time limit?
for listener patience, there is.
All right. Well, I watched one TV show. I'm just gonna say it. Okay. Umbrella Academy season 4.
Okay.
You have not been following Umbrella Academy, correct?
Season 1, so.
So it's pretty good. There is times where I feel like it's taking too long or nothing's going anywhere, but overall they've done a good job. And they've also integrated into it Ellen Page's transition.
Okay.
Her character has also transitioned, and it actually kind of really fit with the character, to be honest, which is either good casting or I don't know what it is. But
good writing.
But her character in the beginning, I keep saying her because at the time in the beginning, first season, it was a her, but she was, yeah. Anyway, so Elliot Page, at the beginning, her character was an oddball already in the group, and that I think makes the transition to becoming a male character more not out of place, basically.
Okay.
But anyway, this season is well into that. The last season, I think season 3, was where that kind of all happened, and they did a decent job of it. They made it fit in the story, let alone the character already was an outlier, different, so it wasn't a surprise for their gender to change. But this newest season was not at all what I was expecting in one way. So Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally, whatever their name is,
okay, sure.
Those two people that are married in real life.
Okay.
Right. Nick Offerman.
I didn't know that, but okay.
Okay. So his wife is the woman that was in Will and Grace.
No, but okay.
Anyway, just look up Nick Offerman's wife.
Yeah.
They're good together. And they're both already odd. I listened to a podcast they did, which was, I think it was called like In Bed with Nick and Megan. And they basically just take celebrities and literally, I don't know if it's true, but they interview them in their bed.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yes, it's kind of neat. It's casual. It's fun. It's funny. They're both hilarious. But in this show, they're basically cult leaders. which is hilarious because they totally both would be cult leaders.
It could be, yeah.
So anyway, in this season, it's basically all about them being cult leaders and that kind of thing, and how that works out. I found this season had lots of drama to do with parenting and marriage, and that spoke to me more than the other seasons have, really, which was more about being like a child of a difficult father, or being a brother, or being a sister, and those kinds of things, or just being part of a family, that kind of thing. Anyways, it seemed neat, but the ending did feel rushed and conveniently tied up loose ends. I wrote a note for myself, and I still stand by that. I still say watch it, and I definitely say watch the show in general. If you've not,
been meaning to,
especially if you like superhero stuff,
yeah.
just go sit down and watch season 1, or even the first episode, and be like, yes, this is good, or no, it's not. I like the premise, I don't, that kind of thing.
I think I started watching the first episode with my brother-in-law at a cottage like 2 years ago, maybe. And
Okay.
it just first, I don't know if it, maybe, or even 3 years ago. I don't remember. No, it was like when the first season came out, so I guess it was 4 years ago.
I don't know if there was a break in there.
Yeah, maybe.
2019 was the first season.
I think it just come out, and we started watching the first episode, and I think we got about a quarter of the way through or something like that, and then I don't know, we had to go for dinner or something, and we just didn't go back to it. And
Okay.
I do need to go back. It's been one of those things that everyone talks about, and I hear good things.
Mm-hmm.
But there's several shows like that I need to get to.
Yeah, I have that as well. It's just this is one that I've actually watched.
Oh, there you go. I haven't watched any TV shows. Well, my wife and I started watching House of the Dragon again. So we watched one episode, I don't know, 2 months ago. We watched the first episode, and then we just never went back to it. And then
That's fine.
this week, but I've been hearing podcasts, people saying season 2 just is wrapping up or wrapped recently. I don't know which one is which. And apparently season 2 is really good. And so I was like, so my kids are gone this week. We are childless for this entire week.
Yeah, you told me. I'm
and
jealous.
so I was just like, we're going to just watch like House of the Dragon. We're going to watch 1 or 2 episodes a night and just kind of like burn through the first season and get to season 2. So we watched 2 episodes last night. We didn't watch any tonight, but tomorrow we'll get back to it. So yeah, it's been good. But kids are gone, so we've decided like we're gonna go out to eat every night, and we're just gonna go to places that we can't go with the kids. So like
that does sound glorious.
Yesterday we went to like a pretty fancy barbecue place. We didn't think it was gonna be as fancy as it was, but it was pretty fancy.
Oh.
Also a little bit pricey. And so today we're like, let's go a little bit cheaper tonight. Anyways, we found like a pretty cool like Vietnamese place. We went there and it was much cheaper and also very good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, not sure. And it's every night. It's just kind of like, okay, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna drive around and be like, that place looks good. We're gonna try that.
I have. If I go to my Google Maps and go to the want to go favorites thing that I've saved, I have so many places that I have saved that I want to go to sometime. Yeah. Just never have time to do, especially without children.
Yeah, that's the big thing. No, without kids. So
yeah,
well, it cuts our bill in half. And
yes, I've never been child free for a week. I don't think
this is the first
since
time.
having children.
Yeah, this is like the first time. Actually, last year we were child free for 3 days, almost 4. I remember my parents took them up to a camping spot early, and then we came up later on the week.
I was supposed to be child free this past Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Friday, like evening and on. But that's when I was sick, so we had to cancel our plans.
So cool.
I've never canceled a hotel booking before, but that was very easy.
Well, that's good.
It was literally, I think it's because of the way I booked it. It said it was a mobile booking. I had a discount because of booking mobile, and it said flexible in the name of the booking, which makes me think maybe that had to do with the cancellation options. I don't know, but it was just click the button, cancel, done, no charge.
Perfect.
As long as you canceled before 6 p.m. on the day of check-in, and check-in's at 3 p.m.
Oh.
So up to 3 hours after check-in, you
Yeah.
could cancel,
I
and
mean,
it
the
was no
rooms are
charge.
probably never actually like they're never booked probably to capacity, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Possibly. And this was
If it was
also
like
in Woodstock, so...
yeah, if there was like an event happening, then maybe.
Although, there were only king bedrooms available.
Oh.
There was only 2 options available, and they were both king beds, I think. Or that was a different hotel, but in the same town. I can't remember. It was either king... Or maybe it was double 2 queens, and it was like a suite. I forget. I'm forgetting which hotel's which, but doesn't matter.
Too many hotels.
There were less options because we were booking late. Like, we only booked on Wednesday night, I think it was, and then we canceled it Thursday night, I think it was.
It was like me and Virgin.
Or we booked it Thursday and canceled it Friday. I can't remember for sure. Yeah. Well, we took so long to figure out where we were going. So I also watched some Taskmaster. We finished Taskmaster Australia Season 1. It was pretty good. We started Taskmaster Australia Season 2. The children watched Episode 1 with us because my wife and I are like, screw it. They don't get to pick what watch it for TV tonight. And it was good. Just that show sometimes has inappropriate jokes that, you know.
Kids may not get it, though.
Yeah. And for anybody who cares, my wife's been watching 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. It's stupid. It's really stupid.
Yeah, my wife's watching Love is Blind, so, you know.
And we're also watching Claim to Fame. Did I tell you about Claim to Fame already?
No. Oh, wait, no, it's somebody who knows somebody
a
famous.
celebrity relative. It's actually pretty good. Like, they are actually getting really big celebrity relatives family. Yeah. Like Jamie Lee Curtis and John Cryer. I don't want to give away too many because that's just this latest season, because if anyone is actually watching it or wants to watch it or whatever, I don't know.
Give it away.
I like it. It's neat. Guessing the puzzles. They almost don't give enough information. It seems like the earlier seasons they gave more. This is season 3. They gave more hints that actually let you try and solve things. Now they kind of seem to try to obscure it, and they only give you this hint for this person and this other hint for this other person. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, they don't want you to figure it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to watch.
That is partly true, but you still want to see if you're right or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all for me for TV. Right. I have movies.
How many movies you got?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 movies in the past month. Nothing cagey.
Holy smokes. Nothing cagey.
But I have a cage quiz or list instead.
Factoid? Okay.
Yeah.
I've got more movies than you, so...
I should write down cage factoids is what I should do, because I listen to a lot of cage podcasts now.
That would be funny.
Although there are a couple of those podcasts we could teach a thing or two. There was one where they're like, I think that's all the facts we have. I'm like, how'd you miss this and this and this and this? I can't remember what it was now.
I was like, give me an example. Give me one. Give me one thing we know.
It bothers me that I can't remember now.
Okay.
Yeah, next time maybe I'll write something down. Yeah, write it down, my list. Not spreadsheet. That doesn't need a spreadsheet. I need to go in the list.
You need to be able to order them in order of importance.
Yeah.
I watched a movie from this year, actually, released, called The Bike Riders, starring Austin Butler and Tom Hardy and Jodie Comer?
Okay.
It's just kind of like a...
Did any of their bikes break down?
They did not. I wish. People broke down, though. It's just kind of like it follows a journalist who I think follows this bike gang. It's kind of like the start of biker gangs.
Okay.
So this guy just got the idea to have...
That didn't come out this year. That came out last year.
2024.
It says 2023 on IMDb.
Well, Plex says 2024. So.
Maybe one of them tracks
It was
theater date
got
versus
in
physical date.
Probably festivals last year, but it actually got physical, like...
Perhaps. Doesn't matter. I was just fucking with you.
Listen. Anyways, it's good. Obviously, I like motorbikes. That wasn't known by
You like Tom Hardy?
I do like Tom Hardy. So I had to watch it. It's good. So it follows a journalist kind of following this biker gang, how it started and kind of how it ends. It's a bit of a tragic story, and it's based on a true story.
Norman Reedus is in it.
Who?
Norman Reedus?
Oh yeah, Norman Reedus. Yeah.
Yeah.
He shows up very. He's also huge into bikes, by the way. If you didn't know. He has a whole show. I think it's a Discovery show on bikes. He gets other
I didn't know that.
celebrities and they ride around on bikes and go to like breweries and stuff.
Is it like comedians in cars getting coffee, but instead it's celebrities riding bikes and
I don't think it's comedians. It's not. It's not to be funny. It's to be more serious. But yeah,
actors on bikes getting coffee.
He's had Dave Chappelle on that show and Keanu Reeves, because Keanu Reeves is also huge into motorbikes. Keanu Reeves has his own motorbike brand.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know.
So, yeah, it's good. Tragic,
That sounds fun.
but good acting. What's next? At the cottage, I do this thing where I'm like, hey, I watched that one movie with that one guy, so I'm gonna watch the next movie with that other guy, that same guy in it.
I did that.
And I remember hearing about my friend Craig is just like, oh, there's a new movie in the series coming out, and I said, oh, I haven't watched any of them. He said, you should. So I watched the first Venom movie.
Oh, speaking of Tom Hardy.
Starring Tom Hardy. Yes. And this is a very different take. Like, Tom Hardy usually plays like pretty low-key characters, don't talk a lot, kind of move, kind of suave. But in Venom, he's playing Eddie Brock, who is like loud and brash and talks a lot. It's just very anti-type what I've usually see him acting as. So also hard for me to buy him as Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock's supposed to be like this little scrawny guy. And Venom or Tom Hardy is not. He's a big dude. So it's good. It was pretty predictable in the way that a movie, like a superhero movie, anti-hero movie needs to be. But it was enjoyable. I saw the little nods for other movies. So the next one I need to watch is like Venom, the one with Carnage, where Woody Harrelson plays Carnage.
What makes you think Eddie Brock's supposed to be a small guy?
I always saw him as like, not small, but just kind of like a weakling.
See, I just Googled Eddie Brock comics. 'Cause I'm like, really? Am I missing something? And it's like 50-50. There's half of them where he's like kind of a normal looking guy with a like leather jacket on or whatever. And then the other half is him like pumping iron and buff.
Oh, then I don't know.
We need to defer to our comic expert, Fraser, on this one. And I'm betting there's some delineation. I just remember him from the old Spider-Man TV show. Okay. And he was not small. He was a bigger guy. That's what I was picturing.
Okay.
Yeah. So because I watched that Spider-Man show so much.
I'm just thinking of Topher Grace. That's all.
Sure.
Spider-Man 3.
Okay. That's on you then.
70 show.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, you say one.
Now you're making me look him up. Oh, him. Okay. Yeah. So, speaking of watching things other people are in, or same people are in, I watched If, which is actually from 2024.
2023, technically.
Nope, 2024 on IMDb. So this is Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
And he is, it's hard to describe, but he's a guy who's helping imaginary friends find new children as their children grow up. And this girl discovers them and helps as well. But there's a lot of people in this movie, like a lot of voice actors that are popular actors, like Steve Carell, and there's who the hell else we got? Ryan Reynolds' wife is in here, and we've got, there's so many people now I can't see anybody's freaking names that I'm expecting it to say just voice. Penelope Waterbridge, Louis Gossett Jr. Who the hell else? Here we go. Awkwafina, Emily Blunt, George Clooney, Bradley Cooper, Matt Damon, Bill Hader, Richard Jenkins, Keegan-Michael Key, Blake Lively, as I already said. Anyway, just tons of celebrities. And then in the credits, I noticed Brad Pitt playing Keith, the invisible guy,
Of course.
and he doesn't speak a line in the movie.
That's so funny.
Keith, all Keith does is like, oh, when someone steps on him because he's invisible. They didn't see him there.
Just like X-Force.
So I had to mention that when you mentioned that. I'm like, oh, this ties in.
That was the note you marked down.
Oh yeah, Maya Rudolph, Sam Rockwell, Amy Schumer, Jon Stewart. Speaking of more and more credit, these are all voices of imaginary friends.
Okay.
Basically, it's pretty cool. It's good to watch with the kids as well. I don't think there's anything scary at all. Yeah, I don't think there was anything that was not kid friendly. My kids really liked it.
Yeah. Good.
And that was called
it is a
IF,
good movie.
which is an acronym for Imaginary Friends.
That's true.
Yes.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah. So, you got something else? My turn, you go,
Another
I
cottage
go.
movie. I had been wanting to watch this movie again for a while, so it's a rewatch for me. Underworld,
Oh,
2003. I remember.
I always liked that.
I remember really liking it, and it's
It
still
was like
good.
Matrix times to me, so I really
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember really liking it. It is still good. Not quite as good as I remember, but still very
Mhm.
good. So it's the biggest thing that stuck out to me was these are vampires, and then they forgot the number one rule about vampires is they don't have reflections. And these people are walking around and there's reflections all over the place. So I'm like,
Oh, really?
Come on, guys.
You can have different lores.
No.
That is okay.
No.
I like when things play with the tropes, like, oh, but silver doesn't hurt us, or crucifixes don't hurt us, or holy water doesn't matter because we don't believe in that, or something like that. Like, I like when they take some of those tropes and play with them, especially vampires because they're so well known. But
I don't mind if they
werewolves
play
too,
with them.
and
I also enjoy that. But there was no explanation.
that's true.
Why they have it.
I do like when they establish the rule and explain
Yeah.
in some way.
Or even just a in the passing moment. Well, there's also no
Yeah.
reason really for them to have any reason for, or there's no reason for them to be in
Sure.
rooms with mirrors or whatever.
Okay.
Or
yeah.
they're standing up at a glass and they're seeing a reflection of themselves as they're looking through it at something else. Like, you couldn't have just angled that a little bit different. It felt like
Making me want to watch Underworld again.
you should watch Underworld, and just made me want to watch the next Underworld as well.
I was gonna say, and have you watched the next ones or not?
I've seen all of them, but I want to rewatch them now. So
How many is there? I know there's 2 at least, but there's
4?
3. Oh.
there's a
More like this. Evolution, Rise of the Lycans, Awakening, Blood Wars. Yeah. I didn't realize it was that many.
Yeah.
Oh, another one. Endless something or other. That's a cartoon though, I think. Anime shorts, yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 actual movies?
Yeah.
I
Something
think I've only seen 2 or 3.
I remember going to the theater to see I think, what's the Awakening? Is that the prequel?
I don't know. That sounds right. It's not showing years here for me unless I click them,
Yeah.
which is annoying because so Awakening was 2012. The original was 2003. Sure. 9 years later. 2006 is Evolution. I remember Evolution.
Yeah.
2009 is Rise of the Lycans. And then Blood Wars is 2016. So yeah. It's the third one, or Awaken.
Well, even so, talking about playing with tropes, like these are vampires. They are shooting guns. That's in the, like, modern times, ish, right? So it's like they're fighting each other but using modern technology, and they figure out like, oh, the Lycans are using like UV bullets,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or they synthesize sunshine and put it. They don't explain how. I don't need to know how. Just like, oh, that's what that is. They figured out how to kill vampires, is to shoot these UV bullets. And then the vampires turn around. They're like, oh, we use silver nitrate bullets to kill the Lycans.
Yeah.
They used that technology against the Lycans and made their own bullets.
Yep.
So
Yep. I do like that.
So I found that stuff really cool. It was just the reflections. I was just like, why? You couldn't have tried a little bit, just a little bit, because that would have also made things feel a little bit more disturbing when you know they're standing. There should be a reflection, but there's not.
Yeah, I can see it.
It just would have been a cool thing to be in the background.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good movie.
Fun.
Yeah. What's next for you?
Now you're making me want to watch them all again.
You're welcome.
Not right now. Okay, so next for me, I watched 2017's Mayhem. And now I'm forgetting the movie. But I did write down. The main character is Stephen Ewan
Yeah.
from Invincible, that cartoon
from
anime.
Walking Dead. Glenn from Walking Dead.
Is he walking? Oh, I didn't realize. Okay. I thought I looked it through the credits too. Anyway, he was good. And then the girl in the movie is one from Guns Akimbo.
That's her?
That's her.
Okay.
I was like, why does she look familiar? So I checked IMDb and I'm like, that's why she's familiar. And she plays a similar character, I hate to say, but at the same time, she does good. Yeah, she was good. It was good. It was a stupid movie, but it was good. Basically, a virus exists and the government knows about it. The world knows about it. Everybody knows about it, but nobody's really stopping it. But when it happens, you basically lose your inhibitions and you act out on impulses, your worst impulses. So people are just killing each other left, right, and center and beating the shit out of each other and arguing and screwing in public and everything. Yeah. I don't know how I even came up with this. I think it was on my to watch later list and I downloaded it and I'm like, oh, okay, let's watch this. Seems like something I could enjoy just watching and not really paying too much attention to, but also paying attention to because it ended up being good.
Fair.
Yeah.
Cool. I have another rewatch for me. One of my favorite Russell Crowe movies. This started at when I first watched this movie. It was at the bottom of my Russell Crowe movie list. It has quickly become my number one favorite Russell Crowe movie. May have talked about it on the podcast before, but it's Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World.
I think so.
Every time I watch this movie, it gets better. It's so fantastic. It is a realistic depiction of sea warfare.
How do you know what's realistic?
Okay, well, I don't know, but it's the most realistic depiction of whatever I've seen so far. I like it. It talks about a little bit of the tactics about how you would deceive someone at sea and how you'd get behind them, how you'd position yourself, that kind of stuff. And that's all stuff when I was younger. I'm like, I don't care about this. I'm gonna see the gun shoot. But now it's all the in between stuff I find more interesting.
All right.
But yes, number one favorite, Master and Commander. Anyone if you watched it before and you didn't like it, try it again. Older and more mature.
I see. Russell Crowe, eh? Okay.
So this came out like right after Gladiator. And I remember Gladiator being huge, and I do like Gladiator. And I assumed Master Commander was going to be Gladiator on sea.
Okay.
And it kind of is. Now that I'm older, the movie does move a lot faster than I remember it moving. I used to think it was slow in plotting, but now that you can pay attention more to like what's actually happening, it moves along pretty quick. So. And today, I'm listening to podcasts today, and that movie gets brought up. I think it was on Fire Escape. They're talking about Master and Commander. That's funny how these things just pop up.
Yeah. Searching through Russell Crowe just to see what else I have, or we all have on Plex that has him in it. And it reminds me, have you watched Inside the Actors Studio?
Once. I've seen a few of them sometimes.
It's so good.
Is it? Okay.
It's just so good. Like anybody you like at all, or even if you don't like them, but you're just like, I'm curious about this actor, you just watch it and it's really good. I have so many episodes of it and I still don't think I have them all, but it's just great to like, especially someone you like.
Upload that to a podcast feed so I can just listen to it.
Yeah. Some of them are physical too, but not many. Like
Yeah.
Jim Carrey and stuff like that have a lot of physicalness to it. But I don't really feel like converting that to a podcast for you. You should just sit down and watch it. They're so old too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple. I remember seeing Inside the Actor Studio with Robert De Niro,
Mm-hmm.
and Bradley Cooper is in the audience asking him questions.
Oh, damn. Yeah, there's so many good ones. Like here's James Cameron, Bon Jovi, Betty White. That's just one season that I have episodes of. Like that's not the whole season. Forrest
Is this on your
Whitaker, Eddie Murphy, Matt Damon, Chris Rock, Mark Ruffalo, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Michelle Pfeiffer, Halle Berry, John Cusack. That's all just one season. Like,
Wow.
and every episode is so good, and his questions are so good. Like, I find Bill good at interviewing, but he's still nothing compared to James Lipton.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're so good. I haven't even watched them all. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Some of them might be in the wrong order, because this is showing a thumbnail of Angelina Jolie, but it says Colin Farrell, so I don't know. But either way, it's great. It probably needs some sorting, because I downloaded those back a long time ago.
Yeah. There's got to be.
Anyway, not to throw you on a tangent here, but
Yeah,
to
that'll
throw
be-
you on a tangent here.
It'll be a tangent.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I watched a movie I watched when I was far too young to have seen it. And I don't know how old I was, but I watched Class Act. Do you know Class Act?
No, I don't know this one.
Okay. So basically, two guys in school. One guy's nerdy, other guy's like a gangster, and their info gets switched. The one guy just got a juvie.
Crew.
Yeah. One guy just got a juvie, and the other guy's like a genius, right? And the guy who got a juvie needs to pass classes in order to not go to jail when he turns 18. And the other guy basically just needs to be as smart as possible, impress, make his parents happy, and also pass phys ed.
Okay.
So they make an arrangement basically because the one guy's forcing them to, and chaos ensues. It's pretty funny. I can't believe how well I remembered this movie, and I still have no idea when I would have watched it, but I definitely should not have been watching it.
Is it inappropriate?
It's not terribly inappropriate, but it's definitely inappropriate for when I watched it, because I remember watching it pretty damn young. And maybe we never finished it, I don't know. But out of the blue, at one point, guess who shows up? The Weasel. Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore himself.
He's not even credited in the movie.
I was gonna say. I was looking at the credits and I don't see.
But he actually plays a decent, like, a role in it near the end of the movie. Like, it ties things all together and stuff. But he plays the Weasel character, which
I'm
ties into Biodome as well. Like, the same character. And I think father of the... son-in-law. I think he also refers to himself as the Weasel.
So this is a. The description here is an urban retelling of Mark Twain's *The Prince and the Pauper*.
Oh.
There you go. Which I have read
There
that
you go.
book, so it makes a lot of sense.
There you go. That gets you hooked, right?
Yep. Little Mark Twain.
It's neat. It's clever. It's also got the girl who played Hillary on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She's in it. She's like the love interest for the one guy.
Okay.
If you know Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I'm assuming you know the Fresh.
Some
No.
parts of it. I never watched the whole thing, but I've seen episodes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was my childhood. All right. I have two more.
All right. I think I have two more as well, and then some cage stuff. No, I have three more actually. I watched with my dad. This is one we've been waiting for forever. We saw the preview for it, and when it came on, my dad's like, "We need to go to the theater and watch that together." So I was waiting for it to pop up in theaters, and there must have been like a week or two where I wasn't watching, and that's probably the week that it showed up in theaters and was gone.
Oh,
And so we completely missed it. And it is the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
oh, I've never even heard of this.
I was gonna say you must have heard it at some point. Anyway, it's a new Guy Ritchie movie. It's a humorous kind of take on the British's attempt at opening up the Atlantic, the Germans to allow America to help to join the war, basically, because the Nazi submarines were basically controlling the Atlantic, and if the U.S. were to send troops over the Atlantic, the submarines would have just sunk the ships.
If there's one topic that I don't know, I don't care about is maybe the right wording. I can't say it's right, but just the war, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what it is.
Fascinating.
I don't know what it is. I just can't get interested in it. I'll still watch things about it, but the war itself and the history of the World War One and Two, I just don't. It alone doesn't keep me interested enough. However, the title of this movie alone makes me interested. Like, it sounds like Kingsman type.
It is. It's
humor, but violence, but fun, and
yes,
yeah,
it's very much in that vein.
The trailer's looking that way too.
Do you know Guy Ritchie?
Yeah, but I don't.
Snatch,
okay.
Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels, Rock and Rolla. He did the two Sherlock Holmes movies. He did Robin Hood.
Okay.
A couple of them. I mentioned
Sherlock Holmes was kind of.
I didn't think they were that great.
Yeah, I didn't think they were either. But Lock, Stock, and Snatch for sure.
Yeah, I like Lock, Stock, Snatch, and Rock and Roller are my favorites. And then
he also did a TV show called The Gentleman that's on my watch list.
TV show?
Yeah, he's the creator
of
a TV show called The Gentleman, and it's on my watch list.
Well, there you go. Anyways, it's kind of like same idea, like quick cuts, fast-paced action, boom, 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 boom. This movie has a lot to distill down into like 2 hours, so it's more style over substance sometimes. They're like, oh, well, we need to show that they fought here. So in terms of action scenes, like, I wouldn't watch it for the action. It's funny, but you don't ever really feel like the heroes are in danger because they're just like walking around just shooting people. All the Nazis are stupid. They're all just dying. They're there to be cannon fodder kind of thing. So it's more for explaining how it all went together and how crazy it all was. So it's got a pretty high, like, Rotten Tomato score. But it's not my favorite Guy Ritchie movie. I don't know. Guy Ritchie's really kind of fallen off for me. I used to really love all his stuff. But this one's good, but
I think I remember liking Revolver too, but I can't remember if I ever watched Rock and Rolla. And those are written by him.
Rock and Rolla was directed by him as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at his list
Revolver
of writing
old.
credits.
Revolver's that's like young Jason Statham, isn't it?
Yeah, 2005 actually. It's not even that old, but I mean we're old, so that is old.
Yeah. So yeah, it's decent. It's worth a watch, but I'm probably glad I didn't watch it in theaters. All right. Next one.
Okay, so I watched a Martin Scorsese movie starring Robert De Niro.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
From 1982.
82. Casino?
No. You're never going to guess it. I don't think this movie is known at all. Someone told me to watch it at some point.
I know a lot of Scorsese movies, but I mean, this is that old.
It also stars Jerry Lewis. If that doesn't help you, you don't know this movie.
It's not. Nothing's jumping out at me right now.
So, Robert De Niro is an aspiring comedian.
Okay.
He's obsessed with Jerry Lewis, who plays a character called Jerry Langford. That's basically Jerry Lewis and has his own show and interview guests and all that stuff. And Robert De Niro basically doesn't say he has a job at all, but he gets celebrity signatures. But Jerry Lewis is his like, or Jerry Langford is his holy grail, his one that he loves, and it feels a lot like Taxi Driver in Robert De Niro's character and obsession and stuff, but it's definitely different, but it still feels like it's borrowing a bit from it or something, or maybe that's just De Niro at the time. Like I said, this is 82. So it's pretty early in a way. I don't know what he did before that. I should have looked at what he did in between the Taxi Driver and that. But anyway, it's neat. It's interesting. It was also weird. Anyway, it's called The King of Comedy.
Okay. Yeah, don't ring a bell.
Yeah, it's very unknown. But someone at one point told me that I should watch it, or said it was good or something or interesting, and I watched it, and it was a movie, and it was, I mean, not bad. Yeah.
As I said, Scorsese. It's pretty hard to be bad.
It doesn't feel like Scorsese to me at all, but I mean, I don't know if I know Scorsese well enough to say that, but I feel like that.
Yeah.
It's also 82, like I said, so maybe he was different back then, or I'm trying to see what else is in that time frame.
Did you do much before that? Like, how much experience did you have? I don't know when you started directing.
80. So this is 81, 82. So Raging Bull was 80.
Okay.
Taxi Driver was 76. This is just under directing.
So he knew what he was doing. It was maybe
he was
directing. Was a studio movie.
Short. 1966 is his first credited full movie. New York City, Melting Point. I mean, he's got a lot. Honeymoon Killers is 1970. Boxcar Bertha. What else has he got? Yeah, Taxi Driver is his first big one that I really know, and that's 76.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's right after Raging Bull, and then After Hours and Amazing Stories. Oh, Amazing Stories is a TV series. Color of Money is 86, so 4 years after this. Yeah, it's something.
It's something.
It's actually rated at a 7.8 stars on IMDb, which is not bad. I think pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. De Niro early and some weird behavior, and Jerry Lewis. I thought Jerry Lewis was like going. I thought he was like a drunk by this point or something, wasn't I? Didn't I not hear that recently, that he did not do much after this? Maybe that was in the 2000s.
Yeah, maybe.
Something someone was talking about on some show. Anyway.
All right, I'll watch eventually. Scorsese's one of those guys that I do want to watch his filmography as well. But
I'll see to watch it in order.
No, I'm not gonna. I can only do one of those at a time.
Yeah.
All right. I downloaded and watched something else called 2024 Watchmen, Chapter 1. And this is... I do really like Watchmen. The Watchmen, the movie, is one of my favorite superhero movies.
I need to rewatch that because it's been a long time. I only watched it the one time.
That movie came out shortly before my wedding. Before our wedding, I guess.
Yeah.
And I remember...
Because we're married to each other.
Exactly.
But seriously, we got married the same day, the same year, in the same hotel. Just so people are not confused.
And we didn't know each other.
And we didn't know each other yet, yeah. If we did, that would have been weird.
Or great.
Wow.
We went for our tux fittings. I went for my tux fitting in Toronto with my groomsmen, because that's where most of my groomsmen were. And then after that, we went to the theater to watch The Watchmen. I had spent the week ahead of time. I had downloaded the comic ebook, and I had spent the entire week reading the entire book. up until the last issue, so I wouldn't know the ending, and then I went to watch the movie, so the ending would be different. I would be a surprise for me.
Okay.
Then found out later that the ending of the movie is different than the ending of the book, and then because of that, I'm probably one of the few people who says I like the movie more than the book. I like the movie ending better. And I don't like giving Zack Snyder a lot of credit because I don't think he's done a lot of good things since then. But it is what it is. Anyways, this is not directed by Zack Snyder.
Okay.
And
this is animated?
It's animated, yes. And one of the voice actors is Troy Baker.
Okay.
So it's basically the book animated up to
I also saw
halfway through, I think.
Greg Delisle, who she used to be known as Greg Delisle. She's now Greg Griffin. I think she got married. And she was in a ton of things. She was one of the people that Rob Paulson had interviewed on his podcast.
Okay.
I think she was a Disney princess or something. I'm trying to figure it out from credits, but I'm not seeing. But I recognized her right away. She was on Robot Chicken and DC Superheroes, Wonder Woman. Yeah. She's got a lot of credits. There's no point going through it. But Grey Delisle was her name before it was. Now it's Grey Griffin.
It still shows up as Grey Delisle on Plex. So.
Okay. And Corey Burton, also tons of voice acting things. He's Captain Metropolis in this.
Jeffrey Combs is in here as well. He was the Reanimator.
Okay.
Watch that.
Phil Lamar. He's done lots of voices as well. You recognize him at all?
Anyways, we don't go through the whole crowd.
Yeah.
I was impressed with it. It looks good. Sounds good. They're a lot more. Seems to be like basically taking comic panels and putting it into the movie, which is also what the movie did. It also basically followed the comic book pretty well all the way through. That's why I like the movie as well. So I'm gonna like this. So this is 83 minutes, and it's chapter 1. I don't know how many chapters are gonna split it into.
Yeah.
But so far so good. I like it. If you like Watchmen, watch chapter 1. Or if you don't like the movie, watch this and see if you like it more than the movie.
So it follows the same story, but elongated, basically, is what we're saying.
Which this one?
This version of the movie.
This is basically taking. Please.
Jesus.
This basically is the comic book, almost like beat for beat.
Okay, so it's
within the Watchmen comic, there is another comic called like Sail the Black. I don't know, the Black Freighter, I think it is, which is like a pirate epic within the Watchmen. It's like a kid at a newsstand reading and it's supposed to be referential of what's going on also in the movie or in the comic. That part they kind of skip over because obviously it would take forever if you're going to do 2 comic book movies in one movie.
Yeah.
But Tales from the Black Freighter, I think it's called, they made a mini series of that as well, separate, that came out a few years ago. Just that bit. So, which I found on Blu-ray not that long ago. And I bought it.
All right. Well, now I feel like I need to rewatch Watchmen. You suck. You add too many things to it to do. It's okay. I'll forget by the time next month gets around here.
Anyways, because for the whole At the Cottage, I was just like, I put Watchmen on my tablet as well, and I kept looking at it. I'm just like, I really want to watch that. I really want to watch that again. But it's so hard because by the time everyone went to bed and it was like 10:30 o'clock or 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm just like, that movie's 3 hours long. I'm like, I know I'm not going to get through it. I'm going to fall asleep. And it's one of those movies I want to sit down and watch all the way through. So.
All right. Well, if I could talk, the last movie that I watched, because these are all out of order, so it's not exactly hype. Okay. I watched The Last Movie Star from 2018, starring Burt Reynolds. He plays a character called Vic Edwards, who is basically Burt Reynolds.
Okay.
He's basically playing himself as an old man that used to be a famous actor.
with Ariel Winters?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I think I've heard of that one.
Why, how do you know her?
She's in
Kiss
Modern
Kiss
Family.
Bang Bang, Modern Family. Oh, that's her.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was her. Oh, geez. Okay. Crazy. Yeah, I didn't even recognize her, and she looks even
looks
more
way
different on her
older,
IMDb.
Yeah.
In the movie, she actually looks kind of young, like they're playing her as young, but she's also dressed like in almost nothing throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't recognize her. Anyway, it was
In
decent.
Modern Family, she looks like she's a little kid, little nerdy kid.
Yeah, but they're trying to make her look like goth punk metal rocker person. So in this movie, that's funny. Anyway, Chevy Chase is also in it, but not much. He's basically like Burt Reynolds' character's friend. It was decent. It's neat to see these old actors playing themselves. It's kind of like I watched the Crocodile Hunter.
Steve Irwin?
Yes, no, not Steve Irwin. The Crocodile Hunter, Sorry, Crocodile Dundee. My God.
Okay. You're talking. That's Steve Irwin.
I'm trying to remember his real name, and it's bothering me because I was just watching Taskmaster Australia, and they said his real name, and now it's bothering me that I can't think of his real name, even though it starts with H. Yeah, Paul Hogan. So I watched the movie of him basically playing a character of himself, or he actually went by his real name, but he played himself now, basically, in the real world as an actor. And Burt Reynolds is very similar to that. But the story of this is really like heartfelt and touching, and I wish I knew how much it plays on Burt Reynolds' real life, because that would be interesting. Like, he's like talking about how he's been married 5 times, but he only ever really loved his first wife and that kind of thing. And all his friends are dying around him, and like he's basically pouring his heart out, and I'm curious how true it is.
Yeah.
And of course, Kevin maybe already knows, right? Kevin loves Burt Reynolds. Yeah. I could also just look it up, but it was neat to watch. I don't know where I saw that this movie even existed, but for some reason it was added to my list, and I watched it, and I enjoyed it. It felt indie the whole time, and maybe it has a lot to do with the characters and the story of the movie, but it just felt it. And also Clark Duke is in it. You'll recognize him if you see him. What is he from? He's from Kick-Ass 2, Hot Tub Time Machine. You like Hot Tub Time Machine? Did you see that?
I saw it once.
Oh, anyway. And Sex Drive is another movie he's in that I recognize him from.
Okay.
Anyway, maybe having him in it made me feel like, okay, this is a lower budget movie, but at the same time, it didn't come off as low budget, really. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
It was decent, and I really hope that it is. Well, okay, I don't hope that it's Burt Reynolds' real life, but at the same time, if he's reflecting on it, then it's a good thing.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I have one more movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Cage stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The day that we saw you, we went to the splash pad together.
Yes, we both took our children to a splash pad. I invited you because my daughter really wanted to go, and my son was away with his uncle, basically just staying the night, playing video games, trading Pokemon cards, and watching Godzilla movies, apparently. So my wife was like, oh, we should take Lauren to the splash pad. And then Cynthia's like, well, what about Josh and his kids? Maybe they'd like to go. So we just messaged you. You gave me a splash pad in town that you've been meaning to go to anyway, and we made it happen.
Like that.
Yeah.
Last minute plans, they work out.
Yes. I was honestly, up until you messaged me with, are you here? I was like, I don't know whether he's even coming. So we weren't counting on it, but we also weren't hurrying because I didn't know if you were going. And then, of course, we were late because I let my wife and my daughter thrift. We had bags to donate of like my daughter's clothes that don't fit her anymore. We're like, okay, let's just take them to donation and get rid of them. And my wife really likes the one thrift store, Perfect Find, in town, because they sell kids' clothes at a very reasonable cost. Like, I think it's, if they're under 8-year-old kids, every article of clothing is 50 cents or something.
Okay, so yeah.
And the
like
money
the-
also goes to a Catholic school. So she likes supporting that place because they seem to be doing
not
it for
going
the
to
right
paycheck.
reasons. And yeah,
You don't
exactly.
paycheck.
I think everybody that works there is a volunteer except the owner.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, can't be easy to run a place like that. But
It can't be.
I'm,
No.
I'm glad that they do things right. Yeah.
That we know of.
Yes, yes. As far as we know, my wife was really involved with the owner on their social media when they first opened because they did a terrible job on social media. And my wife's just like, "Hey, you guys should probably advertise that you're doing a sale on your social media since you have Instagram and stuff." And they're like, "Oh yeah, good idea."
Oops.
Yeah,
Forgot about
they did a really bad job with social media at first, but yeah.
So that night after we left, came back, I had friends come over, and then we met up with my dad, and we went to go see the new Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
If you know me, you know I like Alien, so new Alien movie though.
Wait, you like Alien?
Apparently. So went to go see that, and it is very good. I've heard a lot of people talking about this is their favorite Alien movie ever in the franchise. I think that's blasphemy. It's very good. It's really good. But I think again, if I had to order it, top three, I still like the original Alien more. But again, that's part nostalgia. That's just kind of the setting. I like 2 a little bit more than this one, and then it would be Alien Romulus would be the next one I like. So but that's in very high company. That's not to say that it's any lesser of a movie than those movies. It's still in very good company. This is one of the first times that not one of the first times. I think it's maybe the second or third time where Ridley Scott has not directed the movie. So, or directed an Aliens movie. He's handed it over to a younger director who's known for more horror movies.
Okay.
This director is known more for the movies Don't Breathe, which is kind of like teenagers break into this house of a blind man and then try to rob him, but then he's like super psycho and can hear like crazy, so he has to follow them using ears.
Okay.
This movie kind of feels like that movie just with Alien, so it's kind of like move through but don't make any sound kind of thing.
Okay.
More
You're not selling it to me, that's for sure.
it's more in the horror genre than say, like
Yeah,
thriller
that doesn't.
sci-fi.
Yeah. Okay.
It's again very good. I think you should watch it eventually.
Let's focus on Alien 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the hell there is.
Yeah, watch
now.
the rest of them first. Yeah. In the timeline, in the Alien timeline, this takes place between 1 and 2.
Oh. Okay.
Different, but
Yeah.
different side of the solar system kind of thing.
Yeah, so they don't have to be together or anything like that. It's kind of like
It's completely separate.
they're so separated by time anyway that, yeah, no one's gonna watch in that order.
Between 1 and 2 is like, I don't know, 80 years, technically.
Okay.
She gets put into cryosleep at the end of that one. So she's just floating through space until she gets rescued. So
Spoilers.
spoilers. You're not gonna watch it anyway. Though you should watch the second one. You really should.
Not anymore.
This is more kids, like young adults, who are in a situation that they don't want to be in anymore. It's very oppressive. They see a way out. They have a limited
That's
time
a
way
different
to
movie.
do it. They have a limited time way to do it, so they go in, they take their chance. So the premise is there. I was looking more for an alien movie that pushes the lore a little bit further, that gives you something new, not just a bunch of the same stuff.
Okay.
if you want something that does that, it's probably not that kind of movie. But that doesn't mean it's not good, because there are a lot of really cool ideas in the movie that say, like, problem solving. Like, how would you fight an alien in zero gravity? We've never seen that before.
Some would argue we don't need to see that.
I didn't need to see it, but I'm sure glad that I did see it, because it was pretty cool how they did it. So, do you remember how the aliens have acid blood and they burn through hulls
Of
and
course.
ships and floors? There's at one point in the movie where they're at the bottom floor and the aliens are coming at them, and they're like, how are we going to defeat them? If we shoot them, they'll dissolve the floor and then we'll all die. So how do we get through this situation? And so it's that kind of stuff.
Turn
that's
off
cool.
gravity. Yeah.
Anyways, very cool. Like, you only know that because I said something.
Well, there's that.
It's cool. There's a bit where they're like, oh, here's some technology, but according to like 1 and 2, that technology didn't exist yet, so it's just kind of like brought in for something. I'm doing a really bad job.
Convenience?
Yeah, convenience. Someone has to use a weapon that does not exist in the alien universe, and it's just like, well, this person wouldn't know how to use it, so how do you make a person who doesn't know how to use a weapon? How do you make them good at a weapon? You make it. You make it easy. But yes, it's a very good movie. If you like Alien, you would go watch it. I'm sure Duke and Chris and all those guys at Retro Nonsense will go and see it.
Those people are watching it, yeah.
Yeah. So I hope they like it. And you should watch it at some point. You should.
Maybe. Right now I'm planning my next movies I need to watch to fill out my ABC challenge.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
Not great, I'm guessing.
How many points are you at right now?
49?
Okay. I'm at 57.
I still need E, Q, V, X, Y, Z number.
Okay. Actually, I need to move this. I had a Nicolas Cage movie as my A.
But now you have Alien?
But it was streaming Nicolas Cage, so it was only
Yeah.
3 points. But now I have Alien, so that would be 6 points.
Yeah. I need more tapes and theaters, apparently.
I gave you a bunch of Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I know. They're sitting right there. I know. I just need to do it. And it also needs to be ones that I haven't seen before, or else it's not as many points. Or, sorry, it's not any points.
I only gave you ones you haven't seen.
I thought you gave me one that I gave back.
You gave
on
me
air?
one back.
Yeah, I gave you some back, didn't I? That I didn't watch because of no point.
No.
No, I have 8mm here. Did I give you Snake Eyes back?
Snake Eyes?
Yeah, I watched Snake Eyes.
You haven't given me that one back.
Okay. Well, it's in a pile anyway. They're all labeled with Josh's name, so I don't accidentally sell them in my pile of tapes. They're actually in a separate box as well. Separate box plus labels on each tape saying Josh.
Okay.
Yes, I want to be extra sure. But I'm noticing your Cage list is still lower movies watched than me.
Yeah, just a bit.
A bit. It's enough.
I'm getting there. Well, if you keep going a few months not watching anything.
I might have to just so you can catch up.
Have you watched any of the ones? Maybe you should start watching the ones I've seen already and talk about them. What about these little gap
Maybe.
ones? What about City of Angels in here? I gave you that on VHS.
Yeah,
8mm,
that's probably the next one I should
on
watch.
VHS.
8mm and City of Angels are the ones.
Captain Corelli's, I gave you that on VHS. Wind Talkers, I gave you that on VHS. There's 4 of them right there.
Yeah, I know. They're all there.
That's a
They
ton,
just
that's
need
a
to be
ton of
watched.
points. That's so many points.
I haven't been watching things much. And if I do, I want to watch it on my phone. Not on a VHS tape. I can't convince my wife to watch them with me, especially 8mm. She wouldn't fucking even dream of watching that.
No, probably not. My wife would watch it.
No, she would not even. She would even be mad to know that I was watching it, I think. Based on what I've heard of the movie.
It's not that bad. But...
Yeah.
All right. I do have some Nicolas Cage movies. I watched Matchstick Men.
It's a good one. I like it.
It is very good. I watched it. I initially gave it an A, but I didn't feel good about it giving it an A, so
Really?
I went back and gave it an S.
Based on caginess or based on
Based on how
quality of the
good
movie?
the movie was.
Okay.
It was a really good movie.
Okay.
It's not really cagey. Other than the fact that he's a germaphobe
and OCD.
and OCD,
Yeah.
which has no purpose in the movie other than to give him a character trait.
Does it not come back near the end or something? I can't remember very well.
It doesn't play into the story.
I thought it like helped him realize somebody else had done something, but I don't remember. It's been so long since the movie. Since the movie was new.
I don't remember that either in the movie. If it did, but I remember watching it and be like, there's no reason for him to have this. They're just doing it because it makes him a more interesting character, gives him something to fret
It gives
about.
him a weakness too, right? Because he's supposed to be an impressive con artist, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going based on memory, so
yeah.
There's a reason I have this marked as rewatch.
Yes.
Because I haven't seen it in over 20 years.
I probably haven't either. I probably saw it in maybe not quite 20 years, but close to
yeah, it might have been. It might be 19 years, but it's pretty close. I watched it when it was fairly new because I liked the idea.
I think I watched it in 2006 ish. About probably the first time I watched it. Probably on VHS.
I probably downloaded it.
So, but yes, very good movie. I would recommend watching that one. I have that one on VHS, but I had already seen it. It doesn't count as a rewatch. It doesn't count as for points. So, but still, very good, and would recommend anyone watch that movie, even if you don't like Nicolas Cage. You all right? You're dying over there?
I'm dying a little bit. That cough hurt my head pretty bad.
We're almost done. We're almost done. All right. At the cottage, I was like, I need to get a Nicolas Cage watch in. So
I didn't have that thought this month. Actually, I had it once, and then I checked the list, and I'm like, Josh still needs to catch up.
I'll leave him be.
I'm at 51 watched. He's at 44. In case anybody's curious of the numbers, I know Eric would like to see the spreadsheet.
Yeah, take a picture and send it to him.
I'll give him access to the spreadsheet. View only, because I can't trust him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
He'll fix our formulas.
This is one I've been looking forward to watching because I watched it quite a few. I think this was one that was given to me for my birthday. I think how many years ago on DVD. National Treasure. I really liked that movie when I was a kid. And it is still good. It's not very cagey. It is pretty cheesy in the fact that it's like, oh, we're stealing the Declaration of Independence, blah blah blah. It's pretty ridiculous in that sense, and how conspiratorial everything is. That part's pretty far-fetched, but it's kind of like the fun adventure type movie that I enjoyed growing up. So it's not as good as, The Mummy or Indiana Jones or anything like that. That it's trying to be.
According to this, it's not as good as Matchstick Men.
It's not as good as Matchstick Men. It is not. I only gave it an A, but still good. Again, and it's probably a bit of nostalgia hit me on that one. But you also marked it as an A.
Yeah.
And you must have watched that since this podcast.
Yeah, I thought we talked about it. Yeah.
You must have.
I did. I did. Yeah. I watched it like 3 months ago or something.
Okay. I just don't remember.
And then my son tells me he watched it in school in French.
That's right. I remember this coming up in a conversation.
So random.
Tell him to watch it in English. So
yeah,
I only have another couple of movies until I get to National Treasure. Book of Secrets, number 2, which I've
definitely never seen. Yeah.
I've never seen that one either.
You got it on VHS? No, I'm kidding.
I do not have that. I think this is about the time where things stopped showing up on VHS.
That's what I was thinking.
And then the last one, of course, the next one I watched, Lord of War. This is one I've watched many times, even before I even liked Nicolas Cage. I just like this movie.
Same here. I have it as a rewatch just because I need to watch it again to judge again.
Yeah.
But I've seen it at least twice, like years apart from each other, and I remember enjoying it both times.
Yeah. This is about the only time I really enjoyed Jared Leto in any performance.
Oh.
But that's before I knew who Jared Leto was. It's like
Fight
Jared
Club?
Leto in this and Fight Club. Yeah, that's about
Okay.
it.
My wife used to like him, like as a,
There's a lot
you
of people
know,
that really like him, so.
yeah.
But still, yeah, very good. Again, not very cagey, but just a good movie. There's a lot of criticism about this being like a pro-war movie, just because he's running guns.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying you're just, you're part of the problem. The director specifically is part of the problem. He's encouraging this. He's saying there's a problem, but not really offering a solution. But I don't think that's that's not the job of the movies to create. It's not their job to create.
You don't always have to propose a solution. Sometimes you can just point to the problem too.
Yeah.
And
just
let
say
other people deal
and
with
you know what? There
solution.
probably isn't a solution to this. It's
Well, that's the
just
other thing.
human
Yeah.
nature. It's just we are going to fight and we are going to run guns. We're going to buy guns and we're going to kill each other, and that's just part of human nature. As much as we don't want to do that. So unless we can change human nature, this cycle continues. He is not changing the cycle. He is just profiting from the cycle.
You don't think
And
you
those
can
people
change
exist in real life,
human
so-
nature?
The next movie on my list is The Weatherman. I haven't seen it yet, but I know I've seen that movie on VHS around, so I'm waiting to see if I can find a copy before I commit to watching it.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah. I know I've seen it on VHS for sale. I think it was in a pile of tapes.
Well, if
But
you
I
remember,
think
if
it
you
was-
find
I
any
think it
Nicolas
was
Cage
sold.
tapes, we do have a spreadsheet for tracking Nicolas Cage movies. Or buying them all up if possible. Looking at them, it's going to be hard. Because every time I'm at the thrift, I see the same movies. Con
Yeah.
Air, Face Off, Gone in 60 Seconds. I've seen 8mm a few times. That's about it. Always those ones. Oh, there's another one. I can't remember what it is. The Rock. Yeah, The Rock.
Yeah. The good ones.
The good ones, but I
But
have
you
them
already have them. Yeah.
I want the other ones. Oh, and I've seen City of Angels a few times. But yeah, where's the... I remember maybe seeing once It Could Happen to You, when that was before I was buying VHSs.
Yeah.
But that's it. Yeah. That's it. Gotta be around somewhere. Where's Moonstruck? That was a big movie. Where's that movie on VHS?
True. Yeah. What year was that though? Oh, that was older. Yeah. 78. So yeah. Sorry, 87. God damn it. Backwards numbers. Dyslexia. Something or other. Doesn't help that I'm copy and pasting the name so I can search it on Marketplace locally.
For someone who's individually listing Nicolas Cage movies by name, they're gonna want more than I want to spend on them.
Well, I just want, yeah, that's the problem. Is no one but me types out the name of every movie that they're selling for $1.
Yeah. People just put VHS movies, lot, $1 each.
Yeah. And I looked through a lot of those already, so
Yeah, well, you find them.
I'm not always looking for Cage movies is the problem.
I'm saying, I'm giving you the reminder, so. if you're
Yeah, I just
scanning
always
through,
forget.
If I keep reminding you, maybe you'll hear my voice. When you re-listen to this podcast in 3 weeks, you'll hear this voice again. Oh yeah.
Maybe.
All right, we're over 3 hours. Our voices are dead. I think it's time to go.
Our voices were dead when we started.
True. And I gotta get up early for work because I gotta train a new guy. Yeah.
I'm working from home because no one wants me to go to the office with a cough.
You suck.
You can work from home too.
I wish.
Not at
where's
that
my
job,
Where's my
but-
robotic
Yeah, remote control.
truck, and I can drive from home with my
Yeah.
steering wheel?
Just do what Kevin does. Drive a truck on your
Hey.
computer.
I could be perfect. That'd be a great job. Sit in my air-conditioned basement all day and not hot freaking 34-degree weather.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's rough. Alrighty, thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you. We'll have a full breakdown of Barry Game Exchange next month, but that's coming up when this episode comes out. It'll be a week away.
Yeah.
That'll be good. My basement is a wreck. My stuff is just everywhere right now.
That's fine.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next one.
Bye.